Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to The Real Precious. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, share the stream, subscribe to the channel. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. Invite a friend. Invite a friend. If you have never invited a friend before, let us know where you're watching from. Put it down in the chat. We're gonna have a good show tonight. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Y'all know how we do. We drop the link. So if anyone would like to join the panel, you can definitely do so. I do have to see your face backstage first. And then when you get up on stage, if you do not want to show your face, that is okay. But I need to know that you are real. Okay. No trolls allowed. No trolls allowed. Disrespect will not be tolerated. So if you're disrespectful, you're just going to get the boot. Okay. You're just going to get the boot. But thank you guys so much for being here. Again, hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. Guys, how are you doing this evening?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
We are well.
Can't complain.
Cannot complain one bit. One bit. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm tired. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm tired. But we're here. We are here. I would never cancel the show because of tiredness.
Nah, we see the hair. You're not tired.
Hey, plans after the show.
Hey, RP, she can't fool us, man. We see the hair.
She using us for energy.
That's why she tired.
Man,
Plans made. Okay, I am off tomorrow. I can sleep in. Thank you, Jesus. Okay.
Oh man, it's all right.
Hey,
we got you.
5 hour show, chat. Just be prepared. She said she off tomorrow. 5 hour show.
No, we be on here till we be on here. But I'll definitely let you know. It's funny. King says I do this thing when I'm tired, and he's like, "Yo, your face be resting on your hand hard." I'm like, "No, that doesn't always mean I'm tired." But if y'all see me, if it's leaning too much to the side, just send me a private chat, okay? Just let me know in the back.
You died up there, you died a little bit up there.
We're gonna have a good show. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you so much for always rocking with me. You guys don't have to do this, but you choose to, so I do appreciate you guys in the chat. I see you. Let's see who up in here. Marriage, politics, and sports is in the chat. Hit the like button on the way in. We can't stress that enough. Hit that like button, okay? Let the algorithm know that we having conversation. Fish in the fit. Let's go. World class. Hey, love. How you doing? Let's see who else is in here. Champ Talks has spoken, okay? Like, comment, and subscribe on the way in. Darnell, I see you. Respect to you all. Respect to you too, love. Thank you so much for being here. Frenchie K, peace to you too. Miss Sheila's World of Fun and Inspiration. I like that. I like that name. It just sounds so whimsical. Showing love. Thank you so much for being here. Coach Ferg, where you at? Hold on now. Let me check. Make sure. Where you at, Coach Ferg? Where you at?
Yeah, don't worry about him. He'll find his way there.
I did send him the link, so definitely join us when you are available. Frenchie K, I see you. I see you. Salute to the fellas on the piano. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I really do love that name, Miss Sheila's World of Fun and Inspiration. It could just be used. It can just be used so many different ways, but it's just like, ooh, what's that about? We're gonna have to follow. Okay, we're gonna have to subscribe. Do you do content too? And speaking of subscribe, all of the men on the panel does content, so definitely subscribe to their channels too. Charge it to my head and not my heart, because I feel like I don't say that and I don't promote you guys' channels, yet you're here week after week after week. Definitely subscribe to Champ Talk Reactions. He does reactions to different videos that are online. They're dope. Definitely check them out. Our Pain, he does his thing on his channel, as well as BMU Network, Black Man Unfiltered Network. Sean, you be on YouTube like that? I know you be on Instagram, but I don't know if
I
you.
be on Instagram.
Uh,
Showboating. It ain't something that I'm there, but I'm not practicing social media person. But
gotcha.
I am an active social media person.
Well, you
Not
should.
like
You
how
have
they do in church.
right. You have like the water, right?
Yes, H2O. Yeah, that's official. Artificial H2O, CBD infused water, and yeah, I do that.
Yeah, you know, I
Hmm.
see you always promoting that. So that's a reason. I mean, do you want to sponsor the show? I mean,
Hey,
what's up?
all right. Hey,
Some
today's
H2O.
episode sponsored by H2O. Okay,
Hello. Hello.
hey,
Hey,
say no
you
more.
know what I'm
So Press, you
saying?
don't mind me? I can put my link in your
Of
chat.
course. Of course. Drop that link.
Oh,
Drop the link. Drop the link. Drop the link. I do not mind. All of you can drop your links. Mods, do your thing. Okay.
Mhm.
And
my.
drop the links. Okay. Because
Yes.
while you guys show me tons of support, we want those who are here and those who
Mhm.
subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, they should support you as well.
Appreciate it.
All right. So tonight we have a good show. It's called The Ugly Truth About Marriage, What No One Tells You. Our last video is going to get into that. We're kind of going to work our way up to that video. So we have our Dear Zach and Leon. I love those call-ins on that show. So I like to play those videos. We also have a guy who does street interviews, and he interviews a couple. Yeah, a couple. They're a couple. However, it turns left. And then we get more into, you know, the ugly truth about marriage. And when you hear the ugly truth about marriage, don't think, you know, bad. It's not bad. It's really just the truth that no one tells you. So we'll get into that. And then the last video is a pastor slash comedian, but he's talking about marriage too. And we're going to dive into that a little bit. So again, if you're here, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this live. Also turn on the notifications. Make sure you hit all. Somebody hit me up and was like, I don't ever see your videos coming across my channel or in my notifications. You have to hit all. When you hit the bell, all is a selection that you can choose, and definitely choose that one so you know when I go live. Even if you don't catch it live, you will see it in your notifications and maybe click on it or catch it at a later time. While you're doing all that, look at the link in the chat that is pinned to the top of the chat. Definitely subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Precious Gems. On that channel, I take clips from these long lives. So if you don't have time to watch the entire live, at least you can get a snippet of it on that channel. So definitely go hit the link at the top of the chat, subscribe to Precious Gems, and yeah. All right, so we're going to get into this first video. A caller calls in. She goes on a date, and the guy's a great guy. However, she has some reservations about him. So we're going to get into
And Zach, what up, y'all? I need some advice. I'm confused. So I recently went out with this dude I met through a friend. First off, let me say, he fine. has his own crib, a decent job, and he actually knows how to hold a conversation, which is rare these days. So I was excited to go on this first date. But baby, the way he moved had me looking at him sideways. Tell me why we pulled up to this little hole in the wall spot. Nothing fancy, just wings and fries type vibe.
Come on now.
I ain't picky, so I was cool with that. But when we ordered, he told the cashier we'd be sharing a 10-piece combo with no drink. Said he wasn't trying to overdo it on the first date.
Come on.
I had to blink twice like, sir, it's just wings. Then we sat down, and while we were eating these wings, he pulls out a bottle of water from his backpack and says he always brings his own drinks to save money. I almost choked. And to top it off, we went for a little walk after, which again, I was okay with. But then he stopped at the gas station and asked me, did I want anything? I said, yeah, maybe some candy or something. This man handed me a small pack of gum. Talking about you good. Look, I'm not materialistic. I don't expect to be wine and dine every time. But come on, this felt more like a budget hangout than a date. Still, I can't lie. He's a smart, respectful guy and had good conversation. He even texted me the next day saying he had a good time and wants to see me again. What should I do?
All right. So they went out. He's a good guy, smart, all that good stuff. They get to the restaurant. He orders one meal for them to share, no drink. Is he cheat? Is he testing her? Like, what should she do?
That ain't no damn test. That ain't no test. It look now normally I'm with my fellas, man, and I just gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? I got to. She should have left.
Oh, wow.
She should have left. Now, it's one thing to go and share like a big ass thing of nachos. You know what I'm saying? It's the appetizer. You know what I'm saying? Probably cost you about $15 or so. You got the works on there. It's loaded. You're not gonna eat it by yourself. Y'all probably can split that. You know, and do your thing. But but to get drinks, like no drinks, right? And then to walk to the gas station, ask her, do she want candy? Do she want anything or whatever the case may be? And you bring her back gum? She should have left right there. Right then and there. Out of there. Gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to be frugal and maybe like pull out a Groupon or something like that. That's one thing. But to just go overboard, and look, come on, man. You could have took her on a coffee date if you felt like getting her some candy from the gas station was too expensive for you. Like, if you felt like that was too expensive, you shouldn't even be dating. Like, just my opinion. You should have waited till your payday. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hold up. I know I really want to meet up with you. I really would love to spend some time with you. You know what I'm saying? And she don't even gotta know. Let's do this next Thursday. She don't know you get paid next Thursday. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. We nah. It's one thing to say I don't want to be used for my money and I don't want to leave with my money, but to be honest about the situation, that right there is overboard. Just real rap. That is overboard.
Oh, okay. So listen, I think she handled it pretty well. But the fact that she's asking the question means she already has an answer. You know, she answered her own question. Hey, listen, if you have that kind of reservation, then she should follow her instincts in that. This guy wasn't ready. You know, there's a couple of ways she could handle it, but the fact that she's considering how he behaved on that first date, he shouldn't get a second one. Why go through that? Now, here's my other thing. You know, and this is a newfangled woman shit, right? Women, I don't know. I was going to say especially black women, but I don't know. Maybe white women are the same way. Why is this obsession with men having to be so fine? That's just a new fucking phenomenon. Excuse my language. Men are not women. We don't get dolled up and look pretty, right? You know, most men are average looking, and we stay average looking. You know, we could groom and do all this stuff, but most men don't go out and look pretty. So women who put a premium on how well a man looks, that's where y'all get into trouble. because most men are like not pretty, and so that's why these guys you can get captivated by guys, bad dudes. Because the first thing she said, "Oh, he was fine." Now, if he was me, old me, or something like that, she wouldn't have sat down at that dinner. We probably wouldn't have got a date. She got captivated by how well he looked and all this other stuff. And then she saw how he was. I like the way she behaved, though. But the fact that she's asking the question afterwards means that this guy's not for her. She shouldn't even sweat it. No, we ain't going out again.
Well, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? When you talk about not worry about looks, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? When
men and women are different. Men and women aren't the same.
Stop that! Stop that! We are attracted similarly, and both of those. If you're gonna say that, which is a good point, it gotta.
I said it was a new phenomenon. I didn't say it's done in pot.
It's nothing new about it. It's nothing new about it. It's been that way for some time.
Back in the day, they weren't like sweating it like they are now.
I mean, you're right, but they have a lot more.
I got married. Shit.
You're right. They have a lot, but they have a lot more access to different things, and we couldn't see a variety back then unless it was around us. Now they see a whole. Yeah. So I mean, your point is correct. It is very, very much more shallow. To your point, I agree. But as far as the man, let me just play the devil's advocate. Why not? Throwing a little something. The man is frugal. Now, let's just say he's frugal, right? And that doesn't, on your first date, I agree, and I think we all agree that ain't the time to be frugal. But let's just say somewhere down the line, this man is a multi-millionaire because of how frugal he is, and she learns this afterwards. She's not going to be as mad as she sounds right now. She's going to try and captivate and help him ease up off of some of that money. And she's going to be like, okay, you don't have to hold on to it that tight. We have it. And she's going to help him groom into a better, well-balanced man for her. So, let's just think if the man was frugal.
Okay. And you know what? You know about all women these days? You're splitting a 10-piece of chicken. She's looking at him like she's hungry as hell. I mean, she is hungry as hell. You mean we're splitting a 10-piece? She can down a 10-piece of chicken just like you can. I mean, in the day when they used to be dainty and shit, man, women be eating plates, man. They be eating plates.
Yeah.
Listen, and I like a woman that can eat. Don't come around me trying to eat just a little salad. No, like I want you to eat how you really eat, so I can see if I can deal with that. I want to know if you smack. I want to know if you. I want to know if you fingers. I want to know what you do, so I can see how we gonna act at the dinner table if it leads to this. But nah, bro, Sean, that is not frugal. That is not frugal, man. There's a difference between being frugal and being cheap and being broke. Like there's just difference.
I mean, I can't. I mean, frugal and cheap to me are, a fine line between the two. Broke is broke, and I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say he's not broke, but and in fairness, that kind of gives a good, you can see what type of woman you're dealing with, because there's a lot of materialistic women right now. And we see the gold digger pranks and all of that often online. And so maybe this, I told you I'm reaching. Maybe this
like a motherfucker. like a motherfucker.
Oh man! And just on a side note, I'm just thinking and assuming Precious one of them eaters. Are you an eater, Precious?
Oh yeah, I like to eat.
Hey,
No,
you gotta
yeah,
watch how
yeah,
you
yeah,
ask that.
you
First of all, you
have
gotta
to
watch how you ask that question.
You know,
Well,
I didn't even.
That's gonna go crazy if it's clipped up.
yeah. So
Oh man.
my thoughts on this, I agree with Frank, right? So it would be one thing if we were getting an appetizer that was big enough for us to share.
Mhm.
We have this, date. It's like, okay, let's get an appetizer where we share. And I'm okay with, because a lot of times, while I do like to go out and eat, my eyes are usually bigger than my stomach, right? So 9 times out of 10, I'm taking half of my food home anyway. So if it was I would even be okay with we shared this appetizer and we don't have to eat nothing else, because I'm probably full after eating all of these nachos. We could just have this appetizer, maybe have a drink, and that be that, and maybe later go out for some ice cream or something, like, you know what I mean, like a little snack or whatever. But it's the fact that they got 10 wings.
Jesus.
And honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest, right? 10 wings, 5 wings may just fill me up. Let's just say we got 10, we got the 10 wings, maybe some fries came with it, right?
Right.
It would be like, okay, like we could share. I don't know. I'm the kind of person that I'm so much of an observer that I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. However, in my head, I'm like, okay, so he brought his own drink. I wouldn't not order a drink. I would just say, hey, I'll definitely help you out with the bill, but I need something else. Like, or I would just take it into my own hands and be like, hey Chelsea, I need a I need a spray, or I need like a martini or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would just order it. Now he probably would be looking at me like, why is she ordering all of this, or what is she doing? But then that's when I would use my common sense and say, you know what? I'm just gonna help you with the bill. Like, I don't know. I'm not a materialistic type of person. So yes, as a woman, my thoughts would be, okay, can he not afford it? Are we saving our appetite for something? Are we going somewhere later or having something else later? I would have
Well,
those as a woman,
yeah.
but I wouldn't necessarily hold it against him to the point where I wouldn't see him again.
Well, what's interesting is,
Even
ladies,
at the lagoon?
I would
Huh?
urge you, ladies, I would urge you, when a man, and some women like this, but I just feel opposite. When a man orders for you on a first date, that to me is something that is a red flag. He should at least offer, can he order? He should at least ask, do you mind if I order for you? You know what I mean? If he plans to do it that way.
Mm.
But just when he got an order for you, and that is his order, never mind, what his order is in this case. But when a man takes you out on a date, yet he wants to kind of, you know, um
Control.
contain control what you can order.
Mhm.
To me, that sends off a little bit of a red flag. If I was to tell my daughter, and urge my daughters, I would urge them against that.
If there are any ladies watching in the chat, have you ever has a man ever ordered for you? I've never been in a situation.
Well, I have. You know what you do though? My wife will tell me what she wants,
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm ordering mine, I say, "Well, get her number 3 or whatever it is, and I'll get
Right.
mine." But
Yeah.
now that was like when we were like first. Now I just throw the menu at her and say, "Go ahead, get what you want." That's now, right? Before, back then, when I was a gentleman. Now, hey, go get what
I
you want.
Hey,
also
look.
I also wonder if that's like a cultural type of thing. Like, I can see white men
Yeah,
doing
I think it
it.
is. I think
I
it
can
is.
see I can see other nationalities and races doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if a lot of black men would
No,
order, because for one, black women don't even be knowing what they want to eat. So I just can't see a black man ordering for her. Like it would be a problem because then she would probably find a problem with it. Like I didn't want pasta, I wanted something hot, or like you know what I mean. Like I just don't see. So I don't think that happens a lot in the Black culture. Would if he did do that? Now I'm trying to like put myself in a situation. If that were to happen, he would already have to know what I like.
Right. That
Like
I was thinking that.
You're not just going to, we're not just going to, this be our very first date and you just order. I would look at him like, who told you that? Like, what did I say that's what I wanted?
Well, I would say is nuance to it though, right? Because when y'all get there to wherever y'all get, right to the spot, y'all are chilling for a second. You might be talking, waiting on the waiter. Y'all both looking at the menu and things like that, right? But the way this guy done it definitely would be on the opposite side of that, where you just come up and he don't even know if you eat chicken. Yeah, like he don't know if you eat meat, he don't know if you're a vegetarian, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. And he just ordered for you. You like, yo, I was gonna get some salmon. Like I'm a Presbyterian, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he done ordered the chicken for you.
That's a slick move.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? But if y'all sit there, y'all vibing, y'all gigging for a second, and then you talk about, oh, this looks good. I think I'm gonna get this. So you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll get that. And then when you get there, you like, okay, I'm gonna get that. And he takes that initiative and say, hey, I'm gonna get this. And like our pain said, like the lady right here, she's gonna get that. You know what I'm saying? That's totally different. My thing is, Precious, you said you wouldn't leave this. You wouldn't have left. But so I got a scenario, right? So y'all left this restaurant. He already done ordered the 10 wings. Now y'all pull up to the gas station and he asks you, do you want candy? And he come out with gum.
Well, yeah,
what you want?
That see,
yeah.
I would
because he was fine, huh? Because he was fine.
No, I would just say, you know what? I'm about to go in there and get some Skittles. Like, I just know how to kind of like work things where it's not where I'm not belittling you or disrespecting you or making you feel little,
Well, let's ask the question. So, how come you're not turned off?
And what's going on in your head? At least what's going on in your head?
Because she said that this guy was a good guy. Like she had very good things to say about him. So my thing is like food and things like that don't like I would literally just be like if I ordered drinks and I saw that that's all he was ordering, I would order what I want and I would pay for like I would contribute to the bill and then we would have a conversation about like I would work it into oh, dinner last night was, I enjoyed it, whatever I ordered or the drink I ordered, whatever it was, I would, of course, and then I would say, were you really trying to just order one meal for us? Like it would be a conversation. I wouldn't go to the internet like, what should I do? Like,
right.
And thank you.
It would be more of a conversation because then when you ask those questions, you get the answers. And whether he lies or whether he's ashamed or whatever the case may be, you can feel that out. I'm not going to just cash you to the side because you drink your own water. Like some people
you passed the Sean test. Then after you do all that, he says, I just was testing you, and I'm a multi-billionaire. I think you made it pass go.
It possibly could be a test. Like I think people test each other, in certain ways. And people are tested with their character too. Like
my daughter fell in that test.
A lot, right? But then that plays into okay, well, do you want this $250 date? Like,
nope.
You know what I mean? I'm not looking at like the money doesn't necessarily matter. It's the quality, the time. Like you took your time away from whatever you I took my time for work because people got things to do. I don't have much time to get.
This is true.
And I'm glad you said that, because us men, we sitting there telling y'all women again some advice that possibly might not be good advice. You know, just because, whatever the reasons, we all kind of agree. But I'm glad you shared your perspective, because it actually is worthwhile. You listen to
type of girl. Like I don't have no
right,
problem.
and you listen to what was said. She said he was a good guy. We're sitting here, we always fighting for good guys, and as soon as he's acting or is broke, we sitting there condemning him. That might be a little something we got to look at.
No, sir. No,
What's
no, sir.
going
No,
on?
no, sir. No, sir.
I mean,
What up, Ferg?
Did you
What
say-
up, Ferg?
we sitting here listening to a woman who we all admire her
Right,
character, and we're
right.
sitting here saying, "No, sir."
No, I'm saying,
Listen to her.
I'm saying no, sir, to you. Listen. This is what I'm saying. So I have a daughter too, right? And what I'm saying is this, man. It's one thing to take my daughter to a coffee date, right? You know it's not going to be expensive. My daughter loves Starbucks. You take her to Starbucks, she's gonna have a ball. Like, it does not matter what she orders there, because it's not gonna be $250,000. It's not gonna be $250. It's probably gonna be about a good 10, maybe $12 at the most, right? But to offer her candy, like to even like to offer, like, and this is the situation, because if you guys were going to the movies and then you was like, hey, I look, because I've been there when I was back in the day, we used to sneak everything in the movie theater, right? So like, if he pulled up and was like, hey, we going to the movies, girl, you know that the movies is more expensive nowadays anyway, right? So hey, look, hey, look, I got some Skittles over here, I got M&Ms over here, I got Twix, I got, right? That's one thing, bro. But then to leave this date, which you already ordered for her, which is fine, cool. You order, let's say she ate, y'all had the chicken and fries, then y'all go, and then she's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, like, cool, I want some, I do want some candy. Now, I'm not saying she can't buy her own candy, because she can do such, but then to bring her out some gum, you offered her candy,
but
bro.
no, wait. In fairness, he offered her and asked her what she wanted, and she didn't say anything.
Right.
So don't put that on him.
Right.
She didn't say.
I thought
No,
she said
he brought out guns. He said, "Do you
candy.
want candy or something?" He said, "Do you want anything, candy, or anything?" She said, "I don't remember the response," but he brought out gum. She didn't say anything specific she wanted.
Well, okay. I thought she asked for candy. Okay. All right. I was about to say, because I was about to say, it's just one thing to not want to go all out for a first date, and I get that, and I can understand that. And until you get to know her a little bit more, then boom, okay, now I want to show you some things that I could do, and I get that. But you know what I'm saying? If that was the case and she had asked for some candy, which I thought that she did, but I guess not. But so I take that back then. But if that was the case, then I definitely would have had a problem with it.
Well. And also, in fairness, this is why I said we gotta listen, because here it is, a brother who might not be polished but has some good qualities, and he needs some guidance. And this is where we need to step in. We need to be able to tell him, yo, you got to step it up. You got to do this. You got to do that instead of killing.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, Sean. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly why I said it's one thing to do a coffee date and not go all out. But after that date, if that was the case, or that's why I said too, if you was going to the movies and you pulled up with a whole bunch of candy and snacks and wax and snacks, and
but that's still another guy who knows what to do. Is my point is,
no, I'm saying,
you're talking.
Saying it. We're saying it out loud.
Right. You're saying, but you're talking to a guy who knows what to do on a date versus a guy who might not know what to do.
The audience
and needs some guys to give him some guidance instead of just telling the girl, leave him the hell alone.
The new fellas got in here, man. Did you see the?
you see the bird?
I'm listening to Sean. I'm trying to see if he gonna be the one to coach him how to come over and simp it
Go
all the way
ahead.
up. Cause
Hey,
Sean,
hey, you
Sean,
know, Sean, keep a capo. Nah.
yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Listen. Sometimes, young man, just pick up the advice in passing. Don't go asking for advice that you may not be ready for, or an advice that may take you down the road you don't want to go down. So just, if you want it, don't be afraid to ask. Ask somebody outside of your friend group. Don't ask the dudes you kick it with every day. Ask somebody who may be a little older outside your friend group and expect an honest opinion. Accept whatever they give you so you can evaluate a little better. Your friends might tell you that you ain't doing nothing wrong and watch you go down the drain and laugh at you on the other side. But so, I mean, if a guy's going on a date, depends on what date. I know what the girl I spent 4 dates, I know what she like. She like my candy. She might like some store-bought candy. You know what I'm saying? But if I ask and if she don't say anything, I'm gonna make sure her breath don't stink. Like my man, some more spearmint, some double mint, or some little Jolly Ranchers or something, and just set it over. But yeah, we just going out enjoying the outside, especially the movies. Come on, man.
Right.
People 50 years old sneaking in candy in the movies, man. They know what it is, man. Families of 6, you better sneak a whole lunch basket in that
You
motherfucker.
feel me?
You know what I'm saying? But if
I,
you
Act like you
I'm a
got the
bad date
baby.
if it come to a movie right now, because I'm like, yo, I'm bringing in pop.
Hey,
oh,
act
you
like you
try.
get. Hey, that's when you pull it. That's it. I see somebody pull out a car seat. It was full of snacks, full of Zuzus and Wham-Whams. It was a full car
Yeah,
seat. They just
but
put the little cover over it and
oh
walked it
no,
on in.
they
They
just
had
wow.
everything, dog. That is, hey,
Yeah,
him and his girl went in there. They was happy. They was eating every A&W, all of that.
but I will say this real quick. If you, like I said, if you dating a girl and you know her, you act, those are questions that you should be asking. Like, just ask 1,000 questions, and some answers you don't get are your answer. Don't If she avoids some shit, that's an answer. If he avoids some questions, that's your answer. Move on and move accordingly after that. Don't be invested in me if I ain't answering none of your questions, but I do look good and I got that package you want. But
Oh my
that's
God.
gonna lead you down a
And I'm
dark road.
getting old because
So,
that person in the corner, I was like, who is that? I had to, King, what's up, my man? Good to
It's
see you.
What up, everybody?
So what's
what's
going
up,
on?
brother?
Appreciate y'all for having me up.
The
Yes,
OG. This is this.
right.
Explain it, Precious. Explain who
Sean,
King is for
y'all
those who
looking.
don't know.
King Smith started this show with me. He was my Ace Boon Coon. He was my co-host. And we started this men's panel. Right. And so, he done fell in love and stuff.
But he ain't getting married, y'all. Just letting you know.
But welcome, King. It's so great to see your face. Thank you so much for joining the panel. This is just as much of your panel as it is my panel. So I appreciate you being here. I do want to play the clip again. Before I do, King, you can definitely go ahead and say what you have to say. But I do want to play the clip again for those who have just joined. Peter, hit that like button. Hit that like button. It's been a minute since you've been here too. Okay. Hit the like button. Thank you guys for being here. But King, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me up. It has definitely been a minute, since somebody above me had a come uptuation and change dates on me. We have our live streams on the same night now. I'm doing some post show stuff now, actually, from my live stream that just ended, so I won't be up long. But I saw everybody on and wanted to pop in, and I also like the title as well. So I like to see what the clip was and see if I could offer anything, because I heard nothing about what everybody else added to it, just on what was said after I came on.
Okay, I'm definitely going to play the clip.
Dear Leon and Zach, what up, y'all? I need some advice. I'm confused. So I recently went out with this dude I met through a friend. First off, let me say, he fine. Has his own crib, a decent job, and he actually knows how to hold a conversation, which is rare these days. So I was excited to go on this first date. But baby, the way he moved had me looking at him sideways. Tell me why we pulled up to this little hole in the wall spot. Nothing fancy, just wings and fries type vibe.
Come on now.
I ain't picky, so I was cool with that. But when we ordered, he told the cashier we'd be sharing a 10-piece combo with no drink. Said he wasn't trying to overdo it on the first day.
Come on.
I had to blink twice like, sir, it's just wings. Then we sat down, and while we were eating these wings, he pulls out a bottle of water from his backpack and says he always brings his own drinks to save money. I almost choked. And to top it off, we went for a little walk after, which again, I was okay with. But then he stopped at the gas station and asked me, did I want anything? I said, yeah, maybe some candy or something. This man handed me a small pack of gum. Talking about you good. Look, I'm not materialistic. I don't expect to be wine and dine every time. But come on, this felt more like a budget hangout than a date. Still, I can't lie. He's a smart, respectful guy and had good conversation. He even texted me the next day saying he had a good time and wants to see me again. What should I do?
Hey, I was right. I was right. She said, maybe, my bad, King, I know you about to go. And I know this is, you know, but I was right. Sean said that she did not ask for candy. She said maybe some candy or something. And he brought her out gum.
Stand corrected.
I would have told, listen, in this situation, I would have told this is not a test like to fail or pass. You fail this fucking test if you're my daughter. Because if you ask for some candy and this brother can't even bring you out candy, he already didn't order for you. We give him that. He already done ordered a 10-piece. Y'all had the 10-piece and surprise. All right, cool. He didn't even get a drink. Cool. So y'all didn't even get drinks, whatever the case may be. And then you ask for some $2.50 candy. Can I get a Twix, please? Can I get a Crunch Bar, please? You know what I'm saying? Can I get a Kit Kat? Give me a break. And at the end of the day, he bring you out some fucking gum, some freaking gum. Like, no way. Come on, man. There's one thing to not spend a lot of money on a date and make sure she is there for the right reasons. And I get that. And I commend, I would support that. And then it's another thing to just go overboard. Like, you just want her to be there? No, if you're my daughter and you ever see this video, because you have to, you failed this date. I don't care what no man on this panel say. You failed this date. This is above and beyond that.
Jesus Christ, Frank. Okay.
My bad, man.
Hey, well, Frank, hold on. So are you saying that the lady in the story failed the date?
No, the guy.
The guy. Okay.
No,
the guy.
I'm not saying she failed the date. I'm saying that I would understand if at that moment she was like, this dude is a good dude and I get it. But this test that he's trying to get me to pass, this is overboard for me. You know what I'm saying? I everything else I was okay with. And then I asked you for some candy and you bring me out gum, bro. Like, and it's not even the fact that it's gum. If I ask you for gum, cool. But I asked you for some candy. You could have brought me out anything. You could have brought me out a sucker, pause. You could have brought me out, thank you. You could have brought me out some gummy bears. You could have brought me out a airhead, and I would have been fine because you brought me out what I asked for, and that's fine. Right. But then you bring me out gum and you offered this. Like, it's not like it's not like you were getting out the car and I was like, hey, yo, give me some candy, player. Like, no, you offered. And then you did this. Like, you already was frugal on a date, and I get that. Cool. And I accept that. Then after that, you just wanted to keep piling on and piling on. Nah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that, player.
Okay, King, what would you tell your daughter? And hello, Sparta.
Spartans are back.
What's up,
Peter?
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, Pete? Yeah. So look, there's a difference between being balling on a budget and being practical. and just being outright ridiculous. And in my opinion, the example of that story was outright ridiculous. Now, she did say that overall she thought that like it was a good time, and all she did was highlight the fact that he had them split 10 wings, didn't have a drink or anything like that, and then he tried to give her something that he already had when he asked, do you want anything? And then to try to, I don't know, save money or put on a test, give her something that he already had when it wasn't even specific to what she said. So in my opinion, I would tell my daughter, to your question, that if somebody's going to waste your time like that, then they're not respecting your time for what the activity was. And I wouldn't give that person any more of your time going forward if that's how they want to evaluate you for some type of relationship going forward.
Wow.
Coach Ferg.
I thought he went already.
Oh, man, listen, I'm gonna make it quick, Ray. Listen, man. This is a new wave of dating. Guys are trying to date, but they really just don't know how. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how. He thought he was doing a good gesture, but he wasn't listening to her. Listen, he ain't got to that phase. You know, we said, oh man, we ain't listening to a man until we, you know what I'm saying, until we over in them cheeks. But he did a good gesture, like Sean said. Some guys are just learning on the fly. I know this is a good-hearted guy. He just don't really understand women. He don't. I'd have bought her some Skittles and fed them Skittles one by one. Open up.
Don't start making excuses, Coach.
I'm
We're
just saying,
not making excuses. There's no way he's that crazy. Listen, if he need help,
he's out buying a 10-piece with no drink. Hold up. He's buying a 10-piece with no drink. What are we talking about?
Because that's right.
Hold up. Then you listen. He's got a backpack on. What are we talking about? He pulls a what out of a backpack?
Coach Berg, you know what? I took my wife out. We saw Sinners yesterday, right? So we went to get something to eat afterwards. And so my appetizer was some wings. And they put like 8 wings out.
Okay.
For $15, I only get 8 wings. And it's like my wife took a couple, and we almost got divorced. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, talk RP. Talk to him,
RP. Man, you can't. Come on, man. I'm just saying, man. You know what I'm saying? I would like to know the age. You know, the age makes a difference to me. You know what I'm saying? But again, these are learning tools that guys need to go through. Hell, she might have been a wing type of chick. She just don't believe it. She might have been that type of chick. She probably came out with a chick with her breasts out and a little everything showing. He like, oh, we getting wings. And her breath stink. What are we talking about? That's what he was saying. Your breath
stink. After the wings, she needs some gum.
Yeah, hey, look, the first part of the date was okay, except for him ordering for like Coach RP.
Some people think gum is candy, though, man. Some people chew gum like candy.
I mean, like I said, the reason why I was saying what I said is because we always are emphasizing how much we need to women need to be more responsive to good men, and here it is, a good man, and we dogging him out. Because he's not where we are. That's horrible, man. We need to be able to give him some kind of guidance.
Come on, Sean. Where we are?
Yes, we are. Yes,
$2.50 for some candy.
Again,
gum is just as expensive. Gum is just as expensive.
That is still a person that showed up to that date and gave their time to be there.
And so did he.
That's not the time to be disrespectful of that person's time.
What is disrespectful? You're sitting here acting like he knew better. He obviously don't know no better, and he
We
needs to
we
be
don't know the
taught.
age. We don't know the age, but come
I
on, bro.
mean, you're right.
But
We don't
come
know a
on.
lot of, but we don't know a lot of things. We don't know a lot of things. But the point being is that we're sitting here condemning this man, and meanwhile, we always talk about we need to women need to learn and identify good women. We have a good woman who said I would still give him a chance because of all of the other quality, and we sitting here dogging him out. We gotta get better.
We're not dogging them out. I'm telling you that if this happened on a date that my daughter was on, I would tell her to run.
Dang.
Okay, well,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not dogging them. Listen, bro, if you're out there and you're watching The Real Precious right now, Frank, you know, if we're not I'm not dogging you. I'm letting you know that your dating skills are not up to par, and I would tell my daughter to run. And listen, and it's not because you're
and,
not a good guy. It's not because you're not a good guy. You could be the great guy, but I would feel like you're trying to test my daughter too much. Like now, it's one thing to, like I said, the first part of the date, bro, fine. I'm okay with that. If you done that, even if you took my daughter to Starbucks, I said that, which is probably less than the wings, the fries, the what, all of that, the ambiance, whatever the case it could have been.
It was a whole.
But if
it was a
my
whole
daughter
lot.
asks you for some candy because you offer her some candy, you offer her some candy and you come out with gum to show her, and this is to show her, because we're all jumping to conclusions, right? And I'm gonna jump head. I'm jumping full force into 12 feet.
Yeah, right.
I'm just letting you know.
Don't mess up on the candy, man. Don't mess up on the candy,
It's
man.
just full force into 12 feet. I'm letting you know that if you offer her some candy and you go at like after the date and you go in and you bring her out some gum because you're trying to show her that, oh, well, I'm a good guy, but I don't want you to use me for my Monday. Like, no, we're good over here.
Wait.
Butterscotch in the
In
glove
fairness,
compartment that's been here for
that
4
was
months. That's
right.
candy.
In
We just get that
fairness,
to you.
yo. In fairness, I came up with that testing stuff. You know, that wasn't him. You know, it's just he don't have. He just don't have the decorum yet.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say she could, you know, some men just don't know certain things. They really don't. They're not taught. They don't see it. And so, you know, of course the attraction is there. You're attracted to women, but at the same time, sometimes women do have to take the initiative and say, okay, this is what I want. Or again, if he wasn't trying to order a drink, I would have ordered a drink. And if you can't pay for it, I'm going to pay for it, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to, you're not taking, you know, a child out. So I'm not going to be deprived of a drink. I'm not going to be deprived of some fries. I'm not going to be deprived of some a Reese's cup. If you come out with gum, I'm gonna just say, you know what? I'm gonna go in there and get da da da. That will make him think. Like a lot of times, these conversations are so funny to me because, you know, of course, we don't want the $250 date, right? But we have a man who is a good man according to her. He's fine. He's smart. He has great conversation. You know, women like those things. They like, and she wouldn't be contemplating it. She wouldn't be asking the question if she didn't have a thought of going out with him again. She obviously like him, because when a woman don't like you, you will know she don't like you. She's not not contemplating nothing. She's not asking her friends nothing. It's just nothing. There is nothing there. So she obviously likes the man. But if going out and a man being frugal, like, you know, the Bible says, you know, be a cheerful giver. So I always wait to see what a man is going to just freely give. But at the same time, a man being frugal, or someone that is, you know, who watches what he spends, you would want a man like that. Now if it comes down to, again, her saying, okay, this is what I like, or this is what I want, or, you know, showing him those things versus just straight walking away and him not knowing you know, her at all, or, you know, knowing why she is not talking to him again. I think sometimes women have to show men certain things because there are just things that certain men, younger men, and even older men don't know everything about women. Every woman is different. And so you have to use your voice. You have to use the communication to convey those messages. And then after that, if it's like, all right, like he's just cheap. Like he cheap as hell. And I can't be with somebody that, you know, is not going to be generous. You know, I'm not going to be with someone that is just hell bent on not spend. If that's the case, just be single, because it's already in a man's mind that when you add a woman or you add children or you add anyone, shoot, you going out with your family, you know that you're going to spend a little bit of money. And so after the conversation, or after her, again, I would have brung it up like, you was really trying to order one meal for us the other night. Like, you know, I would have brung it up in conversation so he had the opportunity to explain himself and to really show me where his mind was when we were out on the date.
That's good. Hey, Pete, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Before I get into my topic, King, you're full of shit. I'm gonna tell you why. If you can comment this show, I'm running my show right now, I'm on this. So fuck you on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't be at two places at once.
You've reached your limit on talking.
So I'm gonna put this very basically and very simple. So it's a little secret. If she said she's going on with you on a date, guess what? She likes you. So stop being a cheap motherfucker. Number one. I usually put a 300 rule on the first date. That's my top limit. We go somewhere. It can even be a dive place. Even though small hole in the walls, as a chef, those are usually one of the best places to get food. And they're not expensive. They're actually better than going to have friends, like say Texas Roadhouse, for example.
Yep.
I've been to a place called literally around my corner of my house, Del Taco. I drove that past 1,000 times. And one day I'm like, I didn't know this place was here. I actually walked in there and like, fuck, it's a pretty good fucking food. And it's not too expensive. When you're offering her gum for candy, you should be kicked in the balls for that. Very simple. I'm not going to deny that. If you're that cheap, you show you don't care. You don't give a shit about her. So to me, if you're taking her on a date, I'm the old school. Open the door for her. Buy her flowers for the first one. I know people say, hey, that's cheesy. Doesn't work anymore. Hey, maybe that's why I'm single. I don't care. This is what I do. And like, I don't mind getting an appetizer and sharing an appetizer. I'm gonna order a beer. Hopefully, she orders a drink just to relax a little bit. Alcohol does help relax a little bit. I'm not saying get drunk and drive behind the wheel. I'm not saying that. I'm saying have a drink, just relax. Because both of you guys are gonna be nervous. But when you're cheap and you're already popping out a bottle of water out of your bag, I'm like, here. I'm like, if I was a woman, like, no, this date ends now. I wouldn't even give him a second chance. And if he's a good man, that makes it even more pathetic and more sad. Like, she already said yes. That is the hardest part, to get the yes out of him. Once she says yes, then you're golden after that. Now, the wine and dining part, that's the easy part. If you can hold a conversation, like she said, you're making her laugh. Those are the press. Tell me wrong. All the two most important things: holding a conversation and making you laugh as a woman.
Not the two most important, but they're
Not
very
important. But when you first meeting somebody, I'm saying when you first meeting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can do all that, taking on a date is like great. Now, when you're cheap, you look like you don't give a shit. I'm not saying every date should be 300 or 400. Maybe the next one you could scale back a little bit. But you don't have to scale back to the first one. If you can't afford it, you should not be dating anybody till you actually can.
I don't disagree with none of you guys on it. I mean, the date, man. Like they say, I'm old school. I used to love taking women on dates. I did. I had a budget for it. You know, I actually had a budget for dating. You know, so but I love taking women on dates because it gave you a gauge, a marker where you are with her, right? Other than talking.
Our
You know,
parents
and I
ask a
like
question
to,
now. Back in
huh?
1851, how much was a date?
Well, hey, listen, man. You know, back in the day, man, I spent maybe around $25 on a date. Back in the day, that's a lot of money for a college student. You know, and so and then I just learned how to cook. So I used to get the honeys to the house, man, and cook for them.
Chicken gizzards.
Yeah, that was one thing.
Reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Brown Sugar, when she was like, he cooked for me, and Tay Diggs was like, did you
Oh man, shit.
cook for you?
Cook for them a little bit of wine, some backgammon, shit, man.
Yeah,
It was like,
you ain't gonna
I
play
had a-
cook no chicken gizzards.
So,
no,
hey,
no.
Kansas
Are
City,
you
Kansas
kidding
City,
me?
Missouri, go chicken, go.
The way I sauteed those son of a bitches
Some
up,
chicken gizzards up.
Oh man, are you kidding me? They still a $1.35 a pound. Yeah,
That's
that's
cheaper than
we had.
the chicken wings.
I smoked some chicken
Yeah,
gizzards
that,
3
If
that,
months ago.
haven't gone up, they gotta tell you something, okay?
yeah,
That's
that's a,
cheaper than the hold up. That's cheaper than the chicken
No,
wings.
man, the
that's
recession was here. You know, I had on some rice, man, with some onions and shit underneath them, man, with some gravy, man. Are you kidding me?
man.
Man, when you got
That
you got to know how to survive.
yeah, that's
See,
classic
the cooking part, I'm
Arcane.
not worried about. I
I
got
got
that
the
hit
I
down
got the
pat. I don't
skills.
care what I'm cooking. I can make you. King has tried my food. He knows how well I can cook. Simple as that. And, like I can make.
I mean that's unfair, Peter. You're a chef.
Yeah,
That's
what
a
you want?
little bit unfair, bro.
Listen,
Peter, you
I
you
mean,
going overboard now, sure.
But can you go wrong with salmon though? I'm just curious.
Salmon? What you? So what?
Can you go wrong on a
Very
date
easily.
if you're gonna hook it up yourself? Just a little salmon with a little lemon, a little butter
Yeah,
sauce, some
the wrong
mixed
is the
vegetables.
budget, coach. The wrong is the budget in that manner.
Man,
That's
you
what
can
he's
get
talking
two
about. He was on a
pieces for
college.
What I would do,
He was on a
seriously, I
college
would
budget.
defrost my salmon first. I'll grab some shrimp and crab, grind them down,
Yeah,
season
stuff
it, roll it,
Right. Yep.
a little paprika, throw in the oven, make a butter lemon sauce
Oh yeah.
with a little of onion, butter,
And some
rice.
what's the green thing? Parsley. You know, you have some parsley on top of it. Man, are you kidding me,
What
man?
else what we getting here, okay?
Hey, she got her full attention, King.
But I was gonna say, you talked about laughing and good conversation, but if a man can cook, okay, that's a winner.
Yeah,
And Precious, by
That's how
the
I
way,
used to
I know
get
you
'em.
live down, not too far from me, and the capital of cheesesteaks. Hang on. I can make the better cheesesteak than your area does. By the way,
I don't know.
I'll put money on it.
I can't cheat on my Zogies.
I will put. I'll put my whole paycheck on it.
And then your white school pastor talk about spam. And some people say they make it. I don't like spam, but some
I've
people
never
got up.
They still
Never
eat
wanna
spam
have-
in Hawaii. They still eat spam in Hawaii. That's like a
It's very
that's a
popular in
thing.
the old folks' home.
Right.
Believe it or not, a spam with breakfast eggs and stuff is very popular.
I've never
I'm not
had
a spam
spam.
guy. Yeah, I'm not.
It's not for everybody. It's one of those flavors like you kind of grew up on it or you don't grow up on it. If you
Man.
try it later on, you might like, ugh, this is steak like shit. It's
I
probably,
hated
I'll be honest, it's
spam
very
growing up,
processed.
so I'm not even gonna lie. But we used to eat that shit with barbecue sauce.
It's
Hey,
a
the
great-
hood, you had no choice.
It's a great meal to feed kids on.
Yeah.
Simple as that. A woman feed me some spam, we got problems.
Right. Hey, Sparta. Hey, Sparta. I will say this. So
What's up, brother?
you brought up some great points. And it's not just people that's just saying that like bringing roses on a date is lame. It's women saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like if women weren't saying that, I think a lot more guys would continue bringing roses on the first date. But because you get so many women online saying that they look at you different if you bring roses, or they look at you as a sucker if you bring roses and all this type of stuff, then I think a lot more guys would have been continuing doing that. But I think ever since we got this, social media, everybody got microphones and all of that type of stuff like that, and women have started letting you know exactly what they feel about these type of things, they, oh yeah, when he walk in with roses, I automatically know he gonna be lame or he gonna be his, like, I'm, you know what I'm saying? That, what do you do? Because it's like, yo, I would like to do those things for you. I would like to bring you some roses or some flowers. Even if you like lilies, I'll bring you some lilies or whatever the case may be, just because I know that, right? But then you got all these women online saying, well, if you bring roses on the date, I know you a sucker and I'm gonna take your money. Like, damn, like, okay,
You know
well,
what,
shit.
Frank? You know what you do, right? You don't give them shit to her until after the date's over. She taking her home.
That's a
So
good idea.
so she don't see you coming.
I
So after
usually do like
that
a
date,
midway. Like I pick her up, we have a conversation or whatever, and I feel this correctly. Then I will like,
yeah. So
here you go.
if she ain't
Not bad, but
no good, right?
you mind if I show you guys something really fast?
Yeah, if she is the
You know
date's
what
bad,
I
she don't get the
mean?
rose.
I have
If
a
the date's
question.
bad, she don't get it.
So y'all mean tell me, okay, y'all bring roses on the first date?
I do.
I mean, I
Say
haven't.
I'm
hypothetical.
not maybe Rose. Like one girl I dated.
Okay, yeah,
Hang
man.
on.
She gonna get
One girl I
roses.
dated
Yeah,
that she liked sunflowers, so I got her sunflowers.
she better hope her
Yeah,
birthday's
see?
coming up soon. And like her birthday's the next 2 days or something, but not on no
Man, oh
first date.
man.
Wife
I'm
School
not gonna feed
Well,
Podcast.
you.
it depends on how long it took to get to that first date. If you
Man,
had a lot of
no.
conversation,
You
if
gonna
you
get one rose, no more than three. You gonna get
well, well,
one
well,
rose.
what I'm saying is, if you had a long conversation, you learned a lot about her. You learned she liked
Yeah,
roses, blah 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 blah,
yeah,
and you really trying to have, as Pang will say, intention.
yeah.
Hey,
And guess
Rose
what?
might
She gonna
work.
get one rose, and I'm gonna put it in the side of her hair. Look, make put it in her hair.
I used
She
to
don't
wear
like that
roses.
shit.
That
Yeah, you
that could
like
work.
that. Yeah, let me put it right
That
there.
could
Let me
work.
put that in there. I'm gonna make it
Yeah.
stick too.
What's wrong with bringing roses on the first date?
You don't like me.
You
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 just
gotta
gotta
ask
eat.
you
You don't like
gotta you
me.
gotta you gotta ask your counterparts because they're the one that said that.
It's corny.
They're
I mean,
they're calling
it
you
I
depends
like
on
corny
the
it.
for doing
that's
that.
person.
that's because they're looking for, again. I say this all the
Exactly.
I say this all the time, right? Dead fish float downstream. Okay, dead fish
Ooh,
float downstream. So if you hear
so much
women,
meaning to that.
if you say that you like bringing roses on a date, however, you hear all these girls say, "Oh, why are you bringing roses?" and blah 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 blah. That shouldn't stop you from bringing roses. If that's who you
Huh?
are as a man, then that's what you should continue to do. I just think that a lot of men are influenced by the dead fish floating downstream, right? And so now they ease up, or they stop being who they want to be because of women who don't know anything about courting or dating or anything like that. They want you to hand them money in their hand. They want you to spend the $250. But there are women who appreciate small gestures such as flowers. Like, I love flowers. I wish they never died.
But
But I just don't, I don't get men who subscribe to stuff like that. Like, it's just like, okay, there are women who don't like it, but if that's something that you want to do and you have a woman that's not liking it or appreciative of it, then don't do it for her. But still do it because that's what you want to do.
I agree. I agree with you that, like, you should still continue to do things like me bringing flowers on a day. So let's just say a guy chose not to bring flowers on a first date, right? That that wouldn't mean that he's changing himself though. Like, he can still be himself, right? That's just an aspect because of what you're hearing, like at mass, at large. So if dudes told you straight up, like, yeah, like, I think if a woman do this, this, and this, like, that's just corny. You know what I'm saying? Y'all really don't have that situation because a dude is going to more than likely accept you as you are, as you come, right? So, like, there's a lot of dudes that will date women in all different type of situations. They don't care, right? They will, as long as a woman give them the opportunity, a chance, they're going to jump at it. And so you don't really have that experience. But if your like if your job is to impress this woman or to make an impression on this woman when you get there on the date, and then you hear a lot of women telling you, oh, you're a cornball if you do this, or you're a cornball if you do that, you because as a man your job is to really impress that woman when you get there. So you show up, you looking good, blah blah blah. It doesn't even really matter on your end because you don't really have to impress me. Like you said yes to me. Like it's my job to show up and come here and show you what I got. And then if a lot of you are telling me straight up like, hey, you're a cornball if you do this on the first date, you do that on the first date, you do that, like then I'm going to adjust fire. It doesn't mean that I'm changing myself. I'm just gonna say, you know what? Maybe on the second date, you know what I'm saying, I'll bring her flowers, or maybe I'll do this, or maybe I'll do that.
That's what I was
But
going to ask
why?
you guys. Who are the actual women that you are going out say that you're corny for doing those things, or are you hearing these things elsewhere? And
May I jump in really fast?
Go ahead, Sparta.
So I agree with Precious and Frank said, because I always hear all the time from women, I wish my man got me flowers. I wish he opened the door for me. I wish this. I wish that. But when you do it, and they're like, why are you doing this? I'm like, because I'm trying to be nice, caring, loving, a Spartan who does that stuff. Like, seriously, like I don't see the problem here. When you do it, they complain. When you don't do, you complain. So I gotta say one thing. Which one is it?
Right. It's like
no, listen here. If a woman is complaining about you giving, right? Because that's what men do. Y'all give and we receive. So if a woman is complaining about you giving something to her, especially something like flowers, she's not appreciative. Run. Do
right.
not.
I agree.
Do not collect 500 like that. Like run.
It's 200. You ain't played Monopoly in a while. It's 200.
We was talking about giving advice to our daughters. I would tell my daughter that the advice to my daughter would be like, yo, you're being unappreciative.
Yeah, like
he took the time and concern to even think to get you flowers, and you sitting there complaining about
that's
it.
stupid to me. Like
no, I'll give you a better example. I was dating this woman. I was going to surprise her a nice dinner. I cooked everything to the T, her favorite meal, everything to T. She was complaining the whole time. Oh, this is not the way I at the restaurant. Like, but I made this from scratch, literally from the sauce. The steak was perfectly cooked. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't underdone. It was perfect. The rice was where it was supposed to be.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
You should have told her to get out.
Oh, I didn't tell her to get out. I just thought we're done after that.
Yeah, you should have sent her to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My response to her was, I hope you don't choke on that. You can get your ass out of my fucking house now.
That's beautiful.
Right, good one. Clap it up for Sparta.
That's beautiful, Sparta.
Yeah, because you took the time to be in the kitchen, make something from scratch, which takes time because you got to prep things. Then you got to actually cook them. Then you got to present them a certain way. Like if you took the time out to do all of that and a woman is complaining the entire time.
Have you guys ever seen my food? Any chance? Anybody?
Huh?
Has anybody seen what I present food wise in my photos? Do you mind if I show one of them really fast?
I'm about to say, is it on Instagram?
Jeez.
Nah, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm not. Do you have a drop your channel? I got everybody dropping their channels. Okay.
I will drop it in a second. I actually connected. If you just allow me really fast. I have it.
But yeah, I while he's looking for that, I just think that it's one thing if it's just not a woman's thing, but and again, women have to communicate certain things as well. But I think that if you are giving anything to a woman, I don't care what it is, and she is complaining about it, then that tells you a lot about that woman. She doesn't have a grateful heart. She doesn't have, thankfulness for you and your gestures. And even if it's something that she doesn't like, she should still be thankful for it and say, hey, babe, next time, can you try and give me this one? Because I really don't like this one, but I really appreciate you getting it for me. I really do appreciate you. And then she can redirect the way that, you show up without, again, belittling you, disrespecting you. and making light of what you chose to do for her. I don't. If anybody, if any man has a woman who complains about what he gives to her, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. But these are the things that women need to learn. These are the things that what we was talking about earlier, the cat who with the day. People need to learn these things, and we need to not just throw them to the to the trenches because let's see what we got here.
All right, explain this plate. Oh, it's a slideshow. Okay.
Okay, so the first one is a homemade country steak. I made it from scratch. Mashed potatoes, scratch skin on because that's what the flavor is. Homemade gravy, glazed carriage. Um, this one is a salmon over rice with broccoli done perfectly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is egg noodles over. I can pronounce the word ever. It is beef scone-off. I cannot pronounce.
Stroganoff. Stroganoff.
I hate pronouncing that word. All right, this is just a bit of sloppy Joe. Nothing too crazy here.
Okay.
And we have roast beef again made in house, cauliflower with potatoes. Typical ham sandwich, nothing too crazy. Home salad and beet salad. There we go. Nuggets, nothing too crazy. But again, the precision is what it is.
Mhm.
These potatoes right here are a bitch and a half to make. You have to literally cook them the night before, pipe them by hand, bake them to
Mhm.
hold that shape. That is a process and a half. Another country steak, ribs. Nothing too crazy. Ribs with potatoes and I'm sorry, potatoes, carrots, and what the hell? Yeah, and potatoes. That was right. Um, just plain burger, nothing too crazy. Like chicken salad. We have a salmon, but deep fried. I baked it. I battered it myself 2 days in advance, froze it, then I baked it. I cut it in half just to look a little nicer. Nothing too crazy again. Stuffing with a glazed ham and some sprouts.
Okay.
See,
Just
this is
salad.
why,
Nothing crazy.
Peter, you are the reason why I'm bringing roses and everything else just to kind of give me some leverage because you
So
over there
you,
doing all that, man.
that's a
So you
great
gotta,
idea. Give me a great idea that
yeah.
I do all
You,
my dinners. I like my plating skills suck, but I'm
I
gonna
can help
get
you with
those
that.
pictures and I'm gonna do that like what you just did on my
Always put your protein first down. That's the key thing. Then you can build around the protein. Except if it's a starch that the protein has to go on top, like over rice, for example.
right.
So put your if it's over rice, something like that. Always start in the middle. Put your starch,
so
and then you build
so
upwards.
so
Or if
so
you
so so Ghost, you gonna start a cooking with Spotter on YouTube? Cooking with Spotter.
Eh, I've been thinking about it.
No, you better not twerk on that goddamn shit.
Just take your shirt off, and they'll tune in.
Nobody wants to see that stuff.
You can take your undershirt and
That's
put a little
hilarious.
bow at the bottom. Cook
No,
it.
No,
hey,
don't do
don't,
that
hey,
shit.
don't
Everything.
mess up, man. Don't mess up,
How
man.
you gonna have to put the bow in his shirt?
Wife, you're not
Take
helping.
it and
I
flip
see in
it
the
over
comments
there.
over there.
Flip it out like that.
But you said something very important, and this goes for men and women, but right now we're talking about because at the end we're going to show a video of a woman kind of actually complaining, and we'll see how the husband works that out. But you said something, and you said, you talked about that certain potato and the time that it took, and the way that you had to prepare it and things of that nature. She just sees a plate in front of her. She don't realize the time and things of that, and the preparation and the plating. She doesn't realize that took your energy, it took your time, it took your resources. And so that's why I say if you have a woman complaining, then she needs to get out. Because I could have spent $75 on a steak with some mashed potatoes and some parsley sprinkled on top and things of that nature. But me doing it shows you, or is a symbol of my care for you, my consideration for you, my putting the, you know, best freshest products in the pans and rinsing and you know, cutting up. Like, people don't, and if you're not in a restaurant business, then you know, you truly don't understand the preparation that goes into it. Or if you don't cook, you know, there are women who don't cook, and so they don't understand that it takes time. They don't understand that, you know, you need to set time aside to do certain things for certain plates, certain meals, things of that nature. Like, they just don't understand that. And I would I would put someone out on that before I put someone out who fed me but only ordered a certain amount and got a water. Like, I would do something, because at least that person is still considering me. They just maybe don't know the full scope, or maybe haven't been out in a while, or maybe they're really just really frugal. And so then we would have to have that conversation again. I would bring up, you know, the other night, it was a little odd to me how you just only wanted to order one thing. You know, what's going on with that? So I appreciate you showing those pictures of your work. Looks good. Keep up the good work. Guys, thank you so much for joining. If you're just joining, definitely hit the like button. We're only one video in, y'all. We about to go to the next one. We about to go to the next one. Okay. Yes, I did see BMU in the chat. If you're still here, hello, hello, hello. There was a comment here. Meredith says there's nothing wrong with a $250 date or a $25 date. The issue for me is how a guy makes room for me to get to know him. Some guys do expensive dates because they don't know how to communicate or are socially awkward. An expensive date can be a distraction to his inability to hold conversation or be engaging. Excuse me. And which I do think that's true. Some people put their money where their mouth is, literally, but they don't know how to have a conversation. They would rather wow you with what they can buy you rather than the simple things.
Hey, Precious.
Good
Be,
evening, Mr. Bolden.
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
hey,
Hey,
hey, what's up? Hey, don't come in here on your BS tonight,
I'm
man.
on it. Hey, listen, 'cause I've been hearing y'all, man. I gotta speak I gotta speak a little bit.
okay.
Okay.
All right. So it now first, before I say anything, I gotta know the actual. So the topic is basically about men spending either too much or too little on women on dates. Am I kind of correct on that?
Pretty
Not
much.
really.
Well, let me know.
A woman goes on a date with a guy and he only orders 10 chicken wings. He doesn't order anything to drink. He pulls a water out of his bag. They go to a gas station. He asks her if she wants any candy. And she says, just get me, you know, whatever. And he comes back with some gum. So that was the summation of that video.
All right. So first off, what I will say is that that's just tacky. I that don't even seem like a date to me. That kind of seems like I don't know what that is. And sad to say, I know that youngsters kind of are not in tune with dating and whatnot, but you know, things like that, if you are on that type of time when it comes down to money or just making sure that the woman has a good time, girl, woman, whatever, then you should not be dating. No, I will say this. It doesn't matter if you're dating. What I think you should do is spend more time on the phone, right? Like, make sure that you budget for something where you can actually be proud of taking a woman or girl that you are really, you know, wanting to see more of or wanting to know more about her. So what old boy should have done from the get-go is not invite her on a date, because clearly bringing back gum and doing all kind of tacky stuff like that means that his money either wasn't right or mentally he is just not ready to date, because that don't even make sense. I thought y'all were doing a skit at one point. So I swear I did. And then when you said when that's a real story, that kind of, you know what I mean, that made me feel kind of not sad, but like kind of what I was talking about last time. They don't make men like they used to. Because if anybody, and I will say this, anybody who thinks that that's acceptable or giving any type of excuse for that, then that means that's where we are as men, and I don't like that.
But can we be honest though? you know, yeah, this guy did what he did, right? But the thing she led with, what he's fine. And a nigga that's fine can get away with all that bullshit.
All that stuff, yeah.
A little ugly ass dude, big dude, chunky dude that they would deem me. Girl, I can't believe he took me to get some chicken. Because she'll eat a 12-piece by herself while y'all playing. But he was fine. So he gets that leeway. The dude that's regular, he ain't gonna get that leeway. He the one. Now, these niggas don't know how to treat a lady.
Hey,
Come on, man. Let's be real, man. A good dude
Yeah,
like you, you pull up, your ass, you paying. Me, I'm getting a 6-piece wing with some mild sauce on the fries,
you
and
feel
I'm
me?
going back and I'm having a good time. But
Hey,
you over there, can I talk to you tomorrow on the phone? Yeah.
nah. So this is what so this is what I'll say about that, and I think the panel will agree on this. When you're attractive, you get certain perks that people who are not attractive get.
For
That's just
sure.
what it is. Like, so we can be mad about that, and you're not wrong, coach. But on the same token, I'm not gonna sit there and get on the guy who does that and he has an attractive. Now, do I feel it's right? Nah. Would I tell my daughter to date something like that? Hell nah. But as far as me demonizing and saying, yeah, but that nigga's fine. The girls think it, or women think that he's fine. So, man, but he can get whatever. No, no, no. Bottom line is that the fact that the 10-piece thing doesn't bother me as much as the gum, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. The gum is what bothers me, and the only reason it is because literally a gum is under, depending upon what you get, it's under $2. Like, and
Yeah.
it's at a gas station, and that's what the topic is on, right? For somebody who's trying to date. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I mentioned when I say the talking aspect of it. Because my thing is this: the whole thing about dating is getting to know somebody, right? So if you don't got the finances or even the wherewithal to know, okay, I want to do this with her, I want to make sure we go here, there, it could be miniature golfing. You know what I mean? You could talk and do all that then. But if you don't have the means or the wherewithal to either know that you can't afford it or know that you're just, you're not there dating wise, then you need to talk on the phone so y'all can at least get to know each other so that if something does happen when you take her out and pettiness goes on, at least she knows a little bit more about you. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad there's one Bolden on here who can come up here and give
Wait
it
a
and
minute.
give
Wait
you
a
the
minute.
real deal.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
glad
Wait a minute.
because your
She-
brother, your brother, and
no,
I'm not gonna call him out. I'm just gonna say his name start with an S and end with an N. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you because I heard y'all got a few different brothers. I heard you got a few different brothers.
Yeah,
I just
we
want
got
you to know
to
that so this brother right here, his name begin with an S, end with an N. I just want you to know that. Listen,
oh man,
when I
go
was in high school, like nobody taught me how to date. Nobody taught me how to date. I would never do this to a woman though. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was going to the movie theaters, me and my boys, we would go to we would all team up. We will all team up. We will all, we'd be in like 2 different cars. It'd be like triple, quadruple dates. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't have it, like if I didn't have all the money, if I didn't have it, one of my boys would spot me on the low before we go pick up our girls. Hey, make sure, you know what I'm saying? And then what we would do, or I would spot him. And then what we would do is when we got there, we would get there. Hey, you want some popcorn? This, and this. Like it was cool because we all was learning together, bro. Like nobody had to pull me to the side and say, hey, when a girl asks you for some candy, bring her out some gum. Like, no, like it was very like these things are very simple, man. And I'm not saying that you're going to know everything about dating when you first start dating, because like I said, we don't know how old this guy was in this situation. And so I can give y'all that in that situation. Let's just say he was 18. You should know better. Like I don't like if you was 18, you should know better. When I
Hey,
when I first started dating, when I first started going on dates, I was like 16, 17. By the time I was 18, I knew better. Now, if
hey,
you never
you're
facts,
preaching.
and if you never been on a date and you're 18 years old, you're 19 years old, and you get out there and you start dating, I would not recommend you to get out there and start doing the Meredith. You're wild. She said it's okay if you do it too. Listen, fellas, if you take a woman on a $250 date, your first date, that is your expectation from then on, bro. She is going to, if you take her anywhere else after that, she will automatically be like, damn, hold up. We at this little mom and pop shop now. Well, hold up. I thought we was gonna be at Ruth Chris again. Like, I'm letting you know right now, it's how it's going to go. You listen, man. Don't set yourself up for failure, man. Don't
Well,
do it.
well, what I would say, and then I know Sean's aching to get in here, but what I will say is this is real
Of
quick.
course.
Like what I would say is real quick. Like when I was 16, the date for me was a movie and then maybe get her something to eat. Right. I knew that if I didn't have the means, whether pops, whether brothers, whoever gave it to me at the time, let's say I wasn't working, then I knew I couldn't ask that girl out, and I would talk to her on the phone. I think that the more that you were talking, and it depends on your experience in high school too, because high school, some brothers weren't taking girls out. Some, you know what I mean? Maybe you got a girl, because even if you had a girlfriend in high school, you do sometimes want to do something on the weekends with her, right? So it really does depend on what you were doing in your earlier years. But I will say that no man should date outside their means, low or high. You know what I mean? Because there's all kind of things that you can do. Yeah, I mean, all kind of things. Like I said, it could be as simple as go-karts. And that could be expensive now, but not to the point where it's like 250. You know what I mean? Even if it goes there, be prepared. But just in general, even if you, and this is, I'll stop right here. Even if you tell the girl, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I want to take you out, but yo, before we do that, you know what I mean? Let's get some drinks first, or let's even get a cup of coffee. Like, just chill, but let her know in advance on some smoothness, then I think that she will respect that. And to be honest with you, in my heyday, that's what happened. If I
Well,
didn't have no money, but I want to take her out, I'm like, yo, let's do this real quick. You know what I mean? I wouldn't tell her I'm broke, but I let her know, yo, let's go here just real fast. We could meet, chill for a minute, get some coffee. You got espresso, whatever, woo woo. And then talk on the phone more, build, build, build. And then when it's time, when my money's up, like, all right, girl, nah, no coffee today. Nah, we going here today. You know what I mean? And then that even makes it more like, yeah, okay, he wasn't full of shit, like,
okay.
and the whole time you're talking to her.
Okay, I
Well,
like this
well,
guy
what's
now.
interesting? What's interesting is that I hear what y'all saying, but again,
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
but again, yeah, sitting here. One, she said she was attracted to him. One, two, she said he could hold a conversation. A lot of people, what y'all describing is letting your money lead you, and that shouldn't be an indication of who you are. Now, to the point that we said he's not well prepared for dating, but it's not because of his money. It's because of his tactics and his decorum. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know what. And I'm not disputing that he displayed anything good on the date. What I'm sharing is that we throwing him under the bus instead of helping the brother out. Now, if he ain't listening to help when you say, yo, you should try this, that, and another. Yo, you went left there. He's like, yo, I know what I'm doing. Then he's for the streets. Get it. But at this point, we can't be sitting here saying, oh, all these good men. We talk about good men, and then when we're sitting there not listening to the woman, we're listening to each other, not listening to the woman who's saying to y'all, this is what I would want. But you trying to tell us what women want, and none of us are women. Listen to the woman.
No,
Son,
that's
you
not
lost
the.
me.
Oh
That's
no,
not
no,
even.
no. Let me. Hold on.
Hold on,
Let
hold
me.
on.
Time to get to the next. It's time to get to the
Hey, but
next
hold on,
one.
real quick. No, because real quick with my brother, because I'm
You
gonna tell you
lost me.
something. It's gonna be kind of cool. You are absolutely right, Sean. But this is the thing about dating or anything. You're always gonna have bad dates, right? That was a bad date for him. He will learn from that. Why did she call back? Why is she talking shit on the internet? And then when people start realize, or he starts realizing, damn, it's because I bought gum. Damn, because I took her to a 10-piece, Nuggets type joint when I could have just saved up and did something better. Everybody's had bad dates. So although Sean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong what you're saying. What I'm telling you is everybody's had bad dates and they learn from them. I know I have. I know I've done some things. I'm like, yo, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I shouldn't even made that first move this night, or maybe I shouldn't have. Man, I drank maybe a little. Like whatever the case is, everybody's had those experiences where like, damn, that was a bad day. But you know what? I'm gonna do that better. And that's why a lot of people sooner or later end up with a girlfriend or boyfriend because of the fact that they learn and learn and learn until they realize,
You're right. But all I'm saying is that the lady on the panel, the only lady, said, you know what? I still would have given him a chance to find out more about it. That's what she said.
My question to the Bolden brother, I don't know what your first name is.
Ian.
Ian, but you go to Ian. Bolden.
His name,
okay. Ian. So you said that you had thoughts like, okay, well maybe I could have did this better, or maybe I could have did that better. Was that from your own thoughts, or was that from the woman that you took out on a date that said, hey, I know you did this and I really like it or I appreciate it, but I would have preferred for you to do this? Or were you just coming up with what you should have done better on your own?
Well, you see, so what I do is actions speak louder than words, right? So if I take a girl out and did exactly what the scenario is, and she seemed like she just stopped wanting to talk to me as much, she wasn't interested, the whole nine, then I would have took it as a sign like, yo, I messed up. If she did what I think you're alluding to, where she called you up and she was like, yo, okay, like you guys still kept in contact. It wasn't all this hoopla on the internet, nothing like that. And she still kept in contact with me and we still, talking. Then I wouldn't have felt like it was a failure. But I will say this, though. The sad part about that situation is that most women will not tell you, yo, you seem kind of broke today. Well, what's going on? They just stop talking to you. They just stop talking to you. Like, or they either wait, real quick. Either they just stop talking to you, or it's a little bit, so it's less. Yeah, I mean, y'all used to talk every other day. Now it's maybe once a week. Yeah, I mean, maybe she's missing your calls a little bit more. Maybe she's not answering texts like y'all were when y'all on that honeymoon phase when you first got the numbers and y'all staying up to 12 o'clock and y'all planning dates. Then after that date, it's less. That's how you know. So as much as I understand what you're saying, and maybe you are that type of woman, most women are not going to just say, yo, you acted real cheap and broke, yo. Like, you got to step up your game. Like, I like you. I like your personality, but women don't, at least from my observation, from my homeboys, all that, women do not act. Most women will not say XYZ and then still give you that shot. They might even tell you XYZ and then leave you alone. Yo, so for the next one, don't do that.
What are we talking about?
He's right though. No, he's right though. He's right though.
But it all depends on if she's attracted to you.
Right, both of y'all.
Yes.
I knew what you were about to say. Both of y'all are right. Both of y'all are right about that. Like, if she's attracted to you, then she will definitely tell you that. But he's right also too, though, because if you are, say, like, she has some interest in you, but you're not that guy yet, you know what I'm saying? She's definitely going to tell you. She would definitely either ghost you after that, or she's going to be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really feeling the chemistry. And that's like, she gonna try to let you down easy, but she gonna let you know, like, I wasn't really feeling the chemistry. And she might even say, hey, listen, this is where I kind of like, this is where the date kind of turned me off, or whatever the case may be. And like, maybe next time you take a woman on a date, you should try this or that.
I'm not too much credit.
No, but
it's binary,
I'm being honest.
If you ain't it, you're a zero, and if you're handsome, you get a one.
That's what I said. I said that's why both people.
You get ghosted if you just a regular smuggler guy and you blow the date. You ain't getting a call back.
That's why I said that. So we gotta be. That's why I said we gotta be honest about the situation.
With the ghosting, no relationship, by the way.
Well, put it this way: if she ghosts you and you was genuine and just messed up, she ain't worth it. Never mind her. And listen, if she can't communicate, she ain't worth it. Period.
But this is where I push back on that. This is where I push back a little bit on that, because you're right on that, right? Because Really, like if a woman really that like doesn't, if you guys have good chemistry and then a woman ghosts you off of you being cheap on a date, then yeah, you're right. But this is also a test for her, for you. So if you were
Huh?
testing her, yeah, you understand what I said.
Let's
This
go.
is all, listen, vibe. When you go on dates, both of y'all are having an expectation, right? Both of y'all want to have a good time. So while you're doing what you're doing, she's also analyzing. So even if you guys are talking, right? If you have a bad date or the cheat thing, the whole nine, she might think that that's a reflection of something. I don't know what, but something to where it's like, Now you guys keep bringing this fine. Like if he's fine, he'll get away with it. I agree with that to a certain degree. But how many? But there's also a lot of dudes who are quote unquote good looking that after a while chicks do not. They just
Hold on. But see, listen. Right, you changing it. You talking about after a while, he done already got the cheeks and cakes and spread it all over. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now listen, fellas, listen. If wherever you are in life, if you got $20 in your bank account, you got 20 million in your bank account. If you meet a woman that you're attracted to, you go up to her and you spark your conversation, right? You ain't got to. First of all, just have a conversation about life interests, just regular life shit. The fact that you cooked a meal today and you took a picture of it, show her the picture. The fact that you got your hats lined up, just have regular life conversations. Ask her about not her personal business, but how does she live her daily life? And if you put forth your best forward, whether you bring a rose or a dozen, don't be questioning your damn self if you messed up, if she don't like them damn roses, because she might take them roses and bring them to me. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to have a rose petal night that night. Don't question yourself. You did what you can do, whether you spent $10 on it or $200. You are the gold. You are the piece that she should be trying to buy. If not, keep it moving, man.
Hey, what type of rose she bringing?
She gonna bring the 5 rose like that right there.
She gonna bring the rose to the dresser. That's what she.
Well, she can use that too.
So we're gonna move on to the next video.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Preston. Let's get to the next video.
I know our payment died to move to the next video. All right, so this let me take this one off because StreamYard. All right, so this particular video here, I'm not even going to give it an introduction. We're just going to watch.
44.
41. And how long have you been together?
10 months.
Being that you're in your 40s, do you plan on getting married one day, or is it just more of like a long-term partnership kind of thing?
No comment. You never know. I can't say that. I can't say what the future may hold. But I know right now we're dating, we're in a relationship, we're figuring it out, we pushing forward. But I can't say that far.
So if she got down on her knee right now and said, will you marry me?
You're moving too fast. I can't do that now. Hold up now. No.
What's the hesitancy?
Right.
No.
But first
you know what's the hesitancy? First of all, you want to know this on podcast? I've been married for 15 years, and then I got out of this shit for a whole motherfucker. I only been divorced for 2 years, and then I still got to. But at the same time, I got to still heal. I still got to goddamn. No, I'm gonna hear. No, I'm telling real shit. No, since you want to hear it, I'm being real. You know, I'm just being real.
When you know you're ready, you're ready.
You ready? It don't matter whoever they're with, whether the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or whoever you with, you're gonna learn it and you're gonna know it and you're gonna just get with it and you're gonna love it and you're gonna say, I'm gonna respect it, and that's it. Goodbye, good night. Thank you.
Man, oh man. Okay. Yo, that was one too many drinks. Truth. He started out trying to be, a player, and he wound up just falling. You know what? I didn't do that.
He should smack himself, man. He should smack himself because that's how you talk. We said you can talk yourself into him and you can talk yourself out of him. And he definitely talked himself out of him right there. Yeah, she was primed and ready to go, pulled up to that interview, and she walked off on him, and he didn't skipped him right back on up the thighs, man. I'm letting you know. He talked her right back into him. Like, damn,
But
she
you know
had on
what?
the fur and everything. Damn.
But it was 10 months in. He already got what he wanted. And what he didn't want was marriage. That was pretty obvious.
You could be right. You could be right about. He could have been knocking somebody knocking the boots.
Come on, man.
At that age of 10 months, he damn sure was knocking on, but she got a nice leg.
Oh yeah, he definitely.
What'd you say? I pain. What'd you say? I knew you was looking.
I couldn't get above the waist. I couldn't get above the waist. Go on, man. Look up.
But listen, she didn't answer the question either. She turned her head. She was mum on the whole question.
You know what?
Right?
Yeah, but nah, he took it to a whole. I mean, he started
that guy when he's drunk like that.
Before he said anything, she turned her head.
She's been with him when he did that before.
Yeah, she know what it is. She know what it is.
But he made a motivational speech of it, yo. Like he went above.
That's because he ain't finished. Listen, it's obvious that he's not finished healing because he brought up something that wasn't even part of the conversation. Yeah. I was married a couple times. He went into that. The man, he ain't finished healing.
And the fact that what do they call it nowadays? He crashed out.
Hey, no, he did it. Nope, he did exactly what our pain said. When you get your heart broke, you get your ass right back out there on that damn saddle and you ride that boat. You ride it.
You don't tell everybody about it like that. He made a motivational speech of it, yeah. Like that was
a question of topic. Why am I the only guy I have hair on this panel?
Hey, Sparta, chill.
Hey. That's not the only guy. You're also the only.
Hey, Sparta. Hey.
So was that a dig, man? What's going on, man? Hey, Peter, what's going on, man?
I think this is one time where it's susceptible to say "you people."
You see, I got her now. I got her now. Now what?
You people with hair really annoy me.
Seriously? Hey, fellas. I think Precious wants to jump in here real quick.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that the question is, can he heal while being with a woman for 10 months? And the reason why she didn't answer the question was because she knew. Men make it known whether they want to be exclusive and committed to you, or if they just going by the blow of the wind. Okay, they're out. I don't know where this guy's at. I don't know if they're in Vegas. I don't know what big cities he is in. But obviously they were out. He was dressed like in kind of like a tux. She was in this nice, glittery dress. So maybe they went somewhere really, really nice, right? He done already spent the money. He thinking he getting saucy. He about to, can I get to the yam? Like he about to get to the yams, right? Like he already know that's his objective, right? Marrying her is not an objective for him because he didn't have a direct answer. He couldn't say, what it was from what it wasn't. He then put in his past trauma of being married for 15 years, right? So he's like, we just tried it out. We just, it is what it is. Like he literally is a man without a plan at 44.
Yeah, he's older than 40. He
44. She's 44.
Wait, 40. Full 44.
She is. She's older than him.
Okay.
So,
she's older than him.
Yeah.
I thought he was old. That's crazy.
No,
she ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. She just got out of the picture. She ain't going nowhere. She knew what it is. She going on
the damn place.
Right. Which means at this point she's choosing to be with a man who doesn't have a plan, for her. Now
why you have no plan? Why you don't have no plan? Why do you have no plan? I mean, I'm asking you, Precious. Why doesn't he have a plan? How we know he doesn't have a plan?
He didn't state one. He didn't. He said they just dating. They figuring it out. They
Okay.
I don't have a plan in oh so many words.
Yeah,
His plan is to get those yams as long as you
Exactly.
I think he's doing
it. He had a clear plan. And the interviewer ruined it. He had a plan. He had the direction. The interviewer just ruined it for that night.
The reason
you were gonna play it again. Play it again.
Sure.
We can let this short enough. Let's play it again.
How old are you?
44.
41.
And how long have you been together?
10 months.
Being that you're in your 40s, do you plan on getting married one day, or is it just more of like a long-term partnership kind of thing?
No problem. You never know. I can't say that. I can't say what the future may hold. But I know right now we dating, we in a relationship, we figuring it out, we pushing forward. But I can't
look her head down the whole entire time. You think a man would have planned other than sex for this woman?
But she knew not to answer, right? She let him answer. She purposely had, when he asked the question, he had the mic in her face, and she didn't answer because she knew where he was coming from already.
Right, but I would have looked to my man too, because at the end of the day, men hold access to relationships.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
But she know what it is, though.
That too. So she recognizes the fact that she recognized the fact.
So she allowed him to in my head. I think I know what it is, but let me see what he said.
Exactly. That's exactly what she did. And that's why she's an old school woman, a young whippersnapper woman would have opened her mouth and blew it. She acquiesced to him the way women back then did.
Exactly.
That's not a question for me, dude. That's a question for him.
Facts, and I agree with Precious and our pain. She sat back for a second because she knew that even though he asked this question for both of them, this is a him question.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, if this man tell me, hey, I want to marry you, then I know where we're going. I know that there's a chance that we could get there. I know that we're going to be on that track. And if he show me by his actions and he's being intentional, then we're going that way. If he tell me that I want to marry you, but we only see each other, every now and then, you only call each other every now and then okay, now I'm getting it. I understand exactly what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a him question. I agree with our pain and Precious.
Let's keep the tape rolling.
Yep.
I can't say that far.
So if she got down on her knee right now and said,
even there,
look at her face. Look at her face.
She's saying a lot. I don't know what y'all talking about. She ain't saying nothing. She's saying a lot. Her body language saying a lot.
I am not getting on my knees.
What am I doing here, and why do I keep giving up my coochie to him? But let's
stop it.
Oh, come on.
You're moving too fast. I can't do that now. Hold up now. No.
what's the hesitancy?
Right.
No.
She sure said right. Yeah, what's the hesitancy, motherfucker?
Come on, man.
No.
But
you know what's the hesitancy? First of all,
this where you about to get religion.
He should have set up and let her talk at that point.
Nope, he's in the driver's seat.
First of all, you want to know this on podcast? I've been married for 15 years, and then I got out of this shit for a whole motherfucker. I only been divorced for damn 2 years, and then I still got to. But at the same time, I got to still heal. I still got to goddamn. No, I'm gonna heal. No, I'm telling real shit.
Look, and then, as a woman, she's trying to save him from himself.
Yes.
Like, all right, we're on a podcast. Everybody about to see this. I already see it behind closed doors, but look, the containers.
This is going out there.
He was drunk.
No, since you want to hear it, I'm being real. You know, I'm just being real.
When you know you're ready, you're ready.
You're ready. It don't matter whoever they're with, whether the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or whoever you with. you're gonna learn it, and you're gonna know it, and you're gonna just get with it, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna say, I'm gonna respect it, and that's it. Goodbye, good night. Thank you.
Yo. He messed up for that night.
Way too many times.
You think so?
It seems he's been burned. I'll be
He
honest.
was married. He was married. He was married though.
It doesn't matter.
He was
He
married
burned during his marriage.
I don't think it's been a lot.
Before, right?
His wife. I think he still feels that divorce. You know, he still feels that.
There's no way.
You're what? Your third marriage, isn't it? You're on.
Nah. But yeah, you know what it is.
Second or third, or was it you first? Second.
Who?
You got burned in your first marriage, didn't you?
No, I didn't get burned.
Not the balloon.
Oh, you're talking to first. Oh, you're talking to first.
During the marriage. Just be honest here.
Listen, no, I didn't get burned. No, I didn't get burned. I didn't get burned. No. I would if I'd have got burned, I probably would have never did it again. I knew I wanted to do it. I was doing too much. It was me doing the burning.
Hey, you gotta understand. Hey, Sparta, I think you was in the military too, man. You know you get married in the military, man.
I was actually.
I was about to say early in your early days, you get married in the military, man. Most times that shit don't work out.
Yeah, you know what happened with Money? He started out and he started feeling his pain, but then he kind of messed up because he was like, yeah, when you know, you know. So basically he was telling her, you ain't the one.
No, he was drunk. He was drunk.
I realized that. And that's called truth juice.
He should have never been talking.
Yeah, he should have shut up. He's like, nah, you want to hear it? He want to hear it now. I'm going to tell him. And this is what I'm going to tell him. You know exactly when you want to do it. I've been with her 10 months, and I don't want to do it with her. That's why she won't go home.
Y'all cannot expect this man to come out of the divorce, meet her, and marry her within 10 months, 2 years. What are we talking about?
Well,
come on, man.
Ferg, I don't. But what he said, Ferg, but what he said, the guy asked a question, and he said, yo, don't you know it? Right. And he said, you know immediately, as soon as you want. So basically, he was saying, yeah, I know. I just don't know with her.
Coach Ferg, how long?
No, he didn't say that.
Listen, I was married and divorced within 5 years, right? I spent 15 years on the streets, maybe a little longer, I'm not sure. I had a whole lot of fun, was doing a whole lot of shit. When I met my wife and the way she presented herself and the way she, when we used to talk about our histories and things like that, I ain't want to wait. It was less than 6 months.
Wait, so you got married and divorced within 5 years.
All between age 25, I was married and divorced.
So then you had 15 years to just
getting flued out, getting meals prepped for me, getting all that. Yeah.
I was in them. So you taught them girls how to be city girls. You was that city guy, getting flued out and meals. No, I'm just fucking.
No,
what's that movement guys made? Sprinkle, or what's the opposite? that was
sprinkle. What, house husbands? I don't know.
No,
he's
made sprinkle, and then men
drizzle. It's a drizzle guy.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. We don't know these guys.
Look at our good friend Paul Bennett. He got married less than 6 months, and he's been 29 years now. I think it's 29, something like that.
Because when you know, you know.
So that's a good question, though. So
he never had the trauma like this guy either.
Coming out of divorce, I think 15 years is a long time. But coming out of divorce, what is a good time frame for you to take someone serious?
It's up to each individual.
He said it was 2 years after the divorce, and he was with her for 10 months. So I don't know if there's overlap there or not. So he had 2 years after the divorce. He's still single. With her for 10 months. It could be 2 years plus 10 months, or that could be part of the 2 years.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know, but it doesn't surprise me that he's not ready to get married again.
Right
now, I'm thinking that woman understands that. She's not no city chicken. She has to understand it.
She understands.
It's not the first time he's been drunk around her either.
Right. She understands.
I can tell you that right now.
You guys example.
About a back, like we on a podcast.
She like
Hey,
what?
our pain. That's what it was. That's all I was gonna say. That's what it is. Whether she knew it or not, she didn't want to be embarrassed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. She knew as soon as he started going off on a tangent, she knew that this was about to be embarrassing for her. So, like, even if she knew, okay, he just gotta, let's just use the 2 years. Now they've been dating for 10 months. Let's just use that as an example, right? So he's been out of this marriage for 2 years. He's starting to talk to her. They've been doing this for 10 months, and now they come out of this little spot together. Obviously, they've been doing their thing. Right now, she knows him. Maybe they've been to, more than likely they've been to different events and different places together and all that, all these different dates, whatever the case may be. They come out, there's a dude asking questions. He's a little lit. Now he's going on a tangent. She knows already right now what exactly about to happen.
Yes,
Yo, you're right. He's lit. I do not want to be embarrassed. I get it. Like, maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't get there. I don't want to be embarrassed right now, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for you to be out here talking about some, then and when he goes into, well, when you know, and I'm just gonna like, now like, damn,
she
like,
was going by that. She was going by that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but once he got to that point, if she even heard that,
she had already walked away.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if she even heard that, if she was in enough proximity to hear him saying these type of things, she know exactly where she stands now. Like, if she didn't know before that, she absolutely knows. Because if it was like that, he let you know that I would have already done it.
But you know what? The only thing I'm gonna say,
I want to give you guys an example. Hang on a second.
Let me just say, 44 years old, I looked at her. She does not look like a naive woman.
Not at all.
She does not look like a naive woman. So you're right, Frank. She could have just, that could have put a nail in the coffin. But I think they had this conversation more than once before. Go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
Example. I had a buddy of mine. I want to say his name because I want to put his business out like that. He's been married 3 times. His first divorce, when he was first, he took a little break. His second divorce, he literally got into his next relationship, into his next marriage. So the question is, how long do you need to take a break, or do you need therapy after your next marriage, before your next marriage?
Some people say yes.
It's up to the individual.
Everybody's different. Yeah, everybody's different.
Individual.
Everybody's different in that case.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
My dude, you're muted.
Which is good.
I think that could be.
We're making jokes tonight.
Hey, I thought I had a peanut head.
My question: does he even know how to use his phone? He has to be an iPhone user, probably.
There you go.
Look at him. He on that damn Android.
You still on mute. Hold on.
Something else is on mute, brother.
Yeah, you still on mute, man. You still on mute. We can't hear you.
We're all happy about it too. You know what I'm saying?
We can't hear you, man.
We can't hear you, man. Hey,
you might.
Now he really on
now
mute.
He really muted.
My dude.
Now you're really muted.
Take your phone. Hit mute button.
Oh, he said keep talking. Keep talking.
Oh,
Hey,
keep
Sean,
talking.
you need to get your brother. You need to get your brother a robot. You need to get your brother a robot so she can show him how to take his phone off mute.
One thing I do.
You might have to go down and come back in, man. Something's off.
That everyone has been saying and pointing out. Now they could have been out for a nice night, and this is not the first time that she has seen him drunk, right?
Still not working.
It's working now. I don't. Not only does he need to heal, but a lot of men will pick up a vice, and that will be their healing agent when they need to put down that vice, because maybe that could have been something that broke up their marriage too. Maybe that could have been an issue in his actual marriage. But him drinking and embarrassing her, like Frank said, the way that he did, could just be the end, or because she is 44 and options are probably few. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that she can't get a man, but options could be few. And so there are some women who will tolerate, a man like that and give up on their, I don't know if she's been married before because he was the only one that answered the question, or he brought up his business, but there may be a possibility that she'll tolerate and deal with that man for years.
Yeah, but in terms of
Okay.
embarrassment, real quick, in terms of embarrassment, I mean, yeah, he embarrassed himself as well. And I don't think that's at the pinnacle of embarrassment for her. But yeah, I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like death blow. Go ahead, my man.
No, well, I was gonna say, I kind of got a different thought process because she agreed, right? Like if she didn't agree or she just stood there and let him just spew off or didn't answer the question, then I could kind of be like, okay, maybe that hit her the wrong way. I honestly don't. I think that she did get embarrassed because like on camera, he's not really committing, and that's just embarrassing for a woman in general. He could have kept it real, just chic and smooth and be like, we'll see. Simple, something like that. But he had to go on, and them drinks got to him. But I don't think that's the end of them at all. I think that if she literally says, she's on the same wavelength as him, talking about I don't know or stuff like that, then in my opinion, they have either talked about it or she already knows kind of where she stood. It's just embarrassing to have that out on camera. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people have situations they're in and they'll deal with it. But if it gets out, if it's some kind of embarrassing, then you kind of, you look silly. And I think that's why she walked off. But I still think they're together.
Hey, Ian, I agree with you. I could agree. But what I will say is this, man. Sometimes, like, it's all it takes. When you know that she probably done woke up, she opened up her YouTube home tab and seen herself on a whole bunch of people shit. You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of people out here reacting to this video. You know what I'm saying, bro? She probably on YouTube right now, then seen herself on The Real Precious. Make sure you subscribe, young lady. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? But she probably seen that, and this shit's probably viral on TikTok. It's probably viral everywhere right now. She's probably seeing her.
That guy's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So she's probably seeing herself on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere right now.
And you got to realize she's older than him. So that in itself, a woman's pride is something, unmatched. And once that pride start kicking in,
man.
It's not about giving her too much credit. It's about.
I'm just saying. She's some kind of small flower. You see that woman's face,
right? But it's just
there's
about
a lot of life on her face, man.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, like, I don't think that even with her not looking exactly like she's 44 or anything like that, I'm saying for her to not want to be embarrassed, right? Then get embarrassed, and then wake up the next day or the next few days to see herself viral by getting embarrassed virally online. Like, she probably was like, hey man, listen, I understand that you was drunk, but I can't, we can't do this.
Like, see, this is what I agree. I agree with you. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I agree with you. I agree with you on the fact, I think that if social media wasn't the way it was, or it wasn't as embarrassing as it was, right, and she wasn't viral, I think she would still stay. But you're right, though. Sometimes the pressure, because social media is if it goes everywhere where she's walking down the street and people are like, yo, so what's up with you? Stuff like that, that could push her over the edge, but simply because of that viral moment. If it wasn't viral, I think she would still stay. But if it did, but since it went viral, I think that could be the thing. Like, okay, look, I am dating you and all that, and you talking about you ain't gonna wife me, fine. But now you have all these people looking at me like I'm crazy, yo. So I don't know if I can deal with that.
It was a follow up, man. It'd be nice to see what happened.
Do you guys know he interviewed Philosophical, and I seen that clip so many different times and didn't know who he was. Even after being on the Lapeef Network, I didn't know. I messaged him like I was today years old, realizing realizing that this was you. He definitely, there's a lot of people that he comes across, and there are some relationships that probably walk away from him like, so what are we doing? Because he asks those questions.
He's recognizable now, that's for sure.
A lot of these people are drinking. A lot of these people have had a good night or on their way onto a good night. Like that, I don't know where he stands outside of. But that's why I think
man, what are we talking? Precious, listen, the video gave me everything I need to know. She knows exactly what her position is. She ain't leaving him.
Oh yeah, I don't think
she's older than him.
Yeah.
One thing, she's being a little cougar to the guy. He got everything aesthetically that she liked. Now she ain't going nowhere. She understood. Let me get off his camera, and we'll discuss that before we lay down and.
Yeah,
but she ain't going nowhere, man.
We don't disagree, but I don't think it was no discussing nothing that night.
She's going
okay.
away. You know why? Because there's going to be a bunch of thirsty cats who saw her be like, "Yo, why you still dealing with that nigga?" She's going somewhere. Knock it off.
Sean, is that what you gonna be doing? Don't really. Come on.
You want a real young nigga? Let me do the job.
But look, Sean and Coach Berg, the only reason this is the deal. Because y'all said that I agree with y'all to a certain point, but viral moments could change anybody's life to anybody's mind. Viral moments are something. It goes with you. Though, listen, vibe with me. It goes with you to work. It goes with you to any social setting. It goes with you when people just randomly come up to you. That is embarrassing. I agree with y'all that if it didn't go viral, I don't think she's going nowhere. She got off that camera because she's like, okay, he rambling, whatever, because she agreed with them. But the fact that it went viral, I think that could put a stain on whatever they had. Now, I'm not saying she's gonna leave, but it could put a stain.
Overplaying the embarrassment factor, man. I mean,
not viral.
Well, okay, we could disagree.
No disrespect. Sorry.
No, that's cool, but I just think I mean, there's ways to be embarrassed. Yeah, he embarrassed himself more than he embarrassed her.
Yeah.
He embarrassed both of them. He embarrassed both of them. Number one, by being drunk, and regardless, being drunk on camera, but regardless,
man, he was already drunk, man. The guy That's why I had the on camera. That's why I had to add the on camera. But he embarrassed himself by being drunk on camera. But he also embarrassed that woman too. Y'all seen the look on her face, bro. Like she's like, yo, this. Hold up.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a lot of us know that if a woman if y'all went out and a woman was kind of drinking, y'all having a good time, you would allow her to drink because you're with her to protect her. Y'all come outside and then she just start rambling on camera because she drunk and all that shit. Y'all would be embarrassed too. It don't mean that you would like leave her. I'm not saying you would leave her. I'm just saying that you would be embarrassed too. And a lot of people on here a lot of us have not been viral. I have not been viral yet. But I'm just saying. So, but to wake up and see yourself being reacted to all day, every day for the next few weeks, that shit is embarrassing, man.
So most people are buckle under the pressure.
Too, by the way.
Whether it's embarrassing, I'm just saying, listen, all I'm saying, if she was a young girl or something like 20s or something, this woman is seasoned as hell, man. I
give you that.
Seasoned.
You saw it in her face.
Look at her face.
Yeah, her face is
a seasoned woman, man. So she knows she has a choice to make, or she could make the choice, and if she makes the choice, she ain't changing her mind. But I don't think she's like some kind of I'm gonna go cry on my pillow because this shit's gonna be everywhere tomorrow. I don't know, man. She had them yams out there. She had most of the guys would say, "You got some pretty nice legs there, baby." You know what I'm saying?
No, only you are playing.
But you know what's funny though? I think she would be more embarrassed. But you know what's funny? Hey, Mr. Payne. You know what's funny though? I don't think the men, even if they come to her, she's embarrassed by other ladies because other ladies are gonna look at her like, "What are you doing?" He just
most of the ladies out there,
the men.
Most of the ladies out there,
No, the reason why I say that is because it also depends on their arrangement too. Is it a not financial like he's paying her, but is it to the point where he's taking care of her? Does she make her own money? Yeah, I mean little stuff like that. Is he just doing
he ain't
in
doing
bed
none of
stuff
that.
very good? It really
Man,
does
you know
depend
what,
on what
man?
their relationship
I
really is
mean,
about.
man, I'm looking at her through different eyes, man. I mean, if I was an old single guy, she'd be right in my wheelhouse as a younger woman. Right now, if I was out there, she would be right in my wheelhouse. Not the 21-year-old, but 44, looking like that.
Yeah,
But you're older.
y'all
But
see
you're
that guy who
older
be
than her
going
though,
viral?
so
Hey
you'll look at her
Lisa, that's
differently.
pain. Hey Lisa,
No.
come and look at this girl over here.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
I know I
Mr.
would be out
Payne.
there drunk. Yes, go sir. What's
But
going
Mr.
on?
Payne. But one thing about you gotta understand, you're older than her, so you're not gonna look at her the same as a younger dude would. Does that
No,
make
that's my
sense? Because
But he's younger. So, hold on. Time out. Hold on. So now I'm trying to get a better understanding of this. Right? Let's just say all of y'all are younger than that woman, right? Are y'all getting y'all been with her 10 months? Y'all approach. Are y'all setting a date on camera? He's 2 years younger than her. He's younger than her. He's doing what most of y'all niggas will do. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing but ride up on her, go out with her. She gonna give you them cakes, and you gonna ride it for 10, 12 months until she say, what we doing? Are we getting married? Now all of a sudden, I ain't ready yet. I just got over my divorce. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
now, wait, but coach, only thing is she admitted she did not say what, like if she was like really giddy when he asked that question, will they ever get married or something like that? Even if she didn't answer the question, I could see your point. She admitted saying that she don't know either.
But she
So
let
I
him
don't.
answer first, right? She let him
But
answer. She already know. If she don't know, she like 90% of women that be in these situationships. They already know what it is. They know what it is. They ain't know they ain't no marriage into them. Come
I
on, man.
agree. Me and you on the same. Hey, coach, me and you
I'm
on the
just
same
saying.
page with that. I
So
agree.
what?
I
He
agree with
told
that.
her when he pulled up, listen, I just got divorced a couple years. I ain't trying to get it nothing serious. I want to just have a good time and vibe with the little lady. We see how it go from her. She knew that.
Right,
All right,
and
youngster.
we agree with you, and I agree with you anyway. I'm
Yeah, I
just
did too.
saying that more times than not, it doesn't even matter, man. A lot of people will want that they can know that in private between you two.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like they can know that in private between you two. But
Not the
then
world.
when you go out
Yeah.
and then you tell it to Beyonce's internet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then
Yeah.
that's
No,
when
he's
it
right.
becomes
Facts.
that's when it
I
becomes a
understand.
different story. Because then you're like, yo, like, okay, like this was okay, we understood that between us we're seeing where it goes and we're kind of filling this out or whatever the case may be. Like once you start going on to the extra, like it's like in the beginning he was all right. But you see that it kind of like fucked her up. She like, hold up. Then he just kept going and kept going and kept
Yeah,
Paul.
he did
He
that
kept
because the questions kept coming. The questions kept coming.
But
And that's what my man
Yeah,
aimed his
that's
ass
what happened.
on there. Was this guy's wrong? He was
I
wrong
give
as
you
hell.
I give you that, but I'm saying like he definitely that little liquor, whatever he had in him. Hey,
I want
Cavassier.
to drink right now.
whatever. I know whatever he had in that cup.
I want to drink too. I wanted to drink, but
Blame it on
I gotta get out of
blame it
here. I
on
gotta work in the morning.
Yo, man,
Hey,
take
all
it
right,
easy, yo.
All right, take care, guys.
listen, blame it on the alcohol, blame it on the alcohol.
That's
But
It
exactly
looked
right.
like he
hey,
had
you
some
know what's
Ciroc
funny?
in his cup.
But you know what's funny? I think both of y'all are right, and that's the good thing. I think Coach Ferg, because I was on you with that, she knew what the situation was. She was not surprised, and I don't even think she walked away off of pure embarrassment. I just think, oh, he rambling, but I don't think it was enough in that situation. Afterwards, oh, we need to talk, none like that. But I do agree with Frank that if something is so viral and so embarrassing, and not only you kind of know, but the world knows your situation, and it follows you. You know what I mean? That could really tilt it, you know, for anybody, man or woman. Going viral is something that these days, we didn't have to worry about that when we were. I know I look young as hell, but you already know how old I am. We didn't have to worry about that when we were growing up. If shit like this happened, maybe a few people saw it, maybe even 100, whatever. But I think if that happened, she would still be with him. I don't even think there'll be a conversation other than, okay, maybe you ran your mouth too much, but nothing to the point of breaking up, right? But going viral and going through that hell, and he admitted that y'all not going no place other than what y'all are right now, it could tip the scale. Not saying it would or it did, but it definitely could.
So y'all saying most people would crack under that viral pressure?
Yes.
I think
especially in this day and age.
so. Go ahead, Precious.
I was gonna say, after drinking like that, this guy, whoever he is that do these street interviews, he know what he doing too. He gets the people that are lit. He gets the women that ain't got no clothes on and be like, well, if you were my woman, would you be mad if I told you to go put some clothes on? Like, he gets the people going, okay? He gets the people going. And so he's good at what he does. However, people, when they have liquor in their system, it brings out the truth. It brings out the truth. You already in an environment where you're having a good time. You don't think anything is going to go wrong that night. You about to get the draws. You just have everything in your mind going, and then boom, here comes the street interviewer, right? And so this guy, it seemed like when he said no comment, he was like, all right, let me not let the liquor let me just compose myself. Let me not let the liquor get the best of me, right? And then he said, well, I'm just giving it to you real. Like, you right?
But that hurt came out too.
It did because of the liquor, right? And so that's what I'm saying. I had this question scrolling: can he heal while being with a woman for 10 months? The woman is a woman. She's gonna be a woman, but for him, it's like you're still feeling the hurt of being married to someone for 15 years, and you should know yourself well enough to know that if you are going to drink, you probably shouldn't talk to people that you don't know who got a microphone and a camera and a bright light in your face, because something can come out. Now, y'all talked about the viral moment, right? Yes, things do go viral, but viral moments don't last forever. They might come back around. They might, but they don't last forever. She is of an age where I'm not saying she's like our grandparents or whatever, but there are some women who will just tolerate a man to have a man. And if it's been, what was it, 10 months? It's been 10 months, and now they are where they are. I think that she would continue to be with him because after 10 months, she knows he's divorced. She could be a divorcee herself. She knows he's divorced. She's seen his mannerisms. She's seen his behaviors, his patterns. 10 months is it's almost a year. 10 months is all the seasons. Right. And so she's seen him in all of his seasons. And usually that's how they tell you to date, to see someone in all of the seasons so you know what you're getting into. So she's at the end of, it's winter. Right. And so she knows this man. She knows he's not ready to get married again. I don't personally believe that she would leave him over a viral moment, right? Because if she haven't left already, chances are there's something about him or something about her while she's staying in a situation with the man who was married for 15 years and they kicking it, they figuring it out, they're doing all of that. I really don't think that she's going anywhere. I think she knows what she has. And sometimes when people know it, even though they won't commit and give you marriage and give you what you want, they know what they're dealing with. They know the devil that they have versus the devil that they don't have or that they don't know. And so
I agree.
He knows that she will be the type to stay. She's 44. He's 41. right? He could even have both of them could even have people on the side, and it probably wouldn't even bother either one of them. Like he
I'm
seems
not
like
so sure about that.
somebody that could have somebody on the side, probably younger than 41, his age, right? But he still got sugar mama at home who's gonna still be there, still, you know what I mean, have meals for them, still got the, sometimes these women be making more than these men. And that's the reason. So I don't look, there are people who stay together and they should have been gone a long time ago, right? There's men who use women just like there's women who use men. And I just don't see that. Now, I wasn't calling her sugar mama because of her age. That was just the name that I gave her. But they get to a certain age where it's just like, I know what I'm dealing with. It, like, why would I be back out here in these streets? Like, why, like, you know what I mean? There are just some people who have that fixed mindset. They don't have the progressive mindset where it's just like, there's more for me, there's better for me, da 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 da. Now we all know the sexual marketplace for women. And so you got to take all of those things into consideration, and women take all of those things into consideration as well. So although she may have been embarrassed, although this is a public type of thing, I don't think that she would stop dealing with him, because at least she has somebody. And there are a lot of women who would rather have somebody than just be alone and just do their thing and keep it moving.
So you asking your question over here, Precious? Can he heal while being with a woman for 10 months? Why wouldn't he be able to heal? Right.
Well, with the liquor down, he ain't gonna heal because liquor is a depressant.
Well, okay, but that's not the woman's fault.
No, it's not the woman's fault, but he's not going to be able to heal because of his mindset.
But you're saying he should stop drinking to heal, but not because he got a woman, right? I mean, the fact that maybe you're conflating something. Well, the question here says, can he heal by being with a woman for 10 months? And so what I'm saying, the woman don't got nothing to do with him healing or not. I mean, because that's almost like saying, wait, hold on, man. It's almost like saying a woman is keeping his wound open. I disagree with that. Why would we put that on her? Maybe she's the best thing that ever happened to him since the divorce.
Then he will.
And without her, he might be on a rooftop drinking somebody by himself. Say what? Say that again?
I said he will want to commit to her, so nobody else has the opportunity.
Not necessarily so. Not in this day and age. Marriage as a commitment is on its downswing, right? I mean,
the best thing that happened to him, Coach Ferg, his dialogue would have been so much different. His dialogue would have been different. It just would have been different.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying the basic premise is I don't think she's keeping him from healing by being in a relationship. Maybe the alcohol, maybe. But the honey to me sounds like
No, I'm just responding to the chat.
She's a Gen Xer, right? She's a Gen Xer. A younger Gen Xer. She's a Gen Xer.
She's right on the border, man. Right there on the border.
So all I'm just trying to say is it's hard to kind of put these things. I don't think it's like cause and effect kind of thing. I think the alcohol, you have a point there that he might drink a little bit too much, or he was just having such a good time with her that night. He just had one too many. I got my little red bone on my arm, dark as hell. Got the little contrast shit going on. We look good under the mirror with the right kind of light.
What's up? You heading on in? She gonna come up out of that dress soon. Take that little wig off.
She coming out. Hey, she don't gotta come out that dress.
There you go.
That's the best part. She already is something.
Looks on her skin. I like the way the contrast of my hand on her little back.
She gonna keep them shoes on though. Them shoes are staying on too.
That's right. Oh, we love to objectify women. That's just so funny.
No, it's crazy.
No, but I don't think that she's stopping him from moving on or healing or anything like that. I think that is a you thing.
That's it.
You have to know, and if you're not ready to move on, then you shouldn't be with her for no 10 months. That's just my opinion. I mean, he can do what he want to do. In my opinion,
But
you shouldn't be with her for no 10 months if you don't feel like that you are healed from your marriage. Now, if you feel like you're healed for your marriage and you're ready for something new, you ready to move on, you ready to do something else, and you still, you know, feel like, hey, I want to, you know, find a woman where I can live to the end of life with, make it to the end of life with, then cool. And you know that when you met her that that's the type of vibe that she was on, then cool. Then cool. But if you know that you're not ready and you know that's something that she wants, then you're leading that woman on. Like, that's just my opinion. And it can be what it is. And but if you knew that this woman is 44 years old, she is
high
looking to
school.
live to the end of life with somebody and hopefully be married one day. And you guys, she just like you guys are vibing together, but you know that you're not healed and you're not ready to move on. You got to let that woman go. You got to let her go.
But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, right? I think most guys relay those messages when, I'm not looking for nothing serious. I'm just looking to have a good time with a female. And females believe initially that they can live like that with a man, but they can't.
I agree.
They can't. And they don't set their expectation to a handsome guy like Frank. An ugly dude like me, I got a time limit. Frank coming over shining, the right height, got the money. I'm coming over off my 9 to 5. I got to have a time limit. We gonna try this thing for 2 years.
Hey,
Frank,
I'm a short king. I just got the gift of gab.
I'm just saying though, he's 2 years in, ain't nothing about no relationship. She's still talking about, look, I'm planning the trip to Jamaica with me and you. We going on a cruise. We doing all this husband wife shit, but we still in the situation phase. And that's how you get these type of answers from men. If you want something out of a relationship, you need to set those boundaries early. Because you can't just think you go wing it along the way and you giving up them cheeks and he's throwing your head up against the backboard, breaking all your kids' toys and shit. You'll never snap out of it. So, in this situation, I think, again, the guy was drunk. She knows what it is. He just was talking too much. And I don't know. She wanted it. Whatever relationship he was giving her, she wanted it. She's older than him. She know better. She should have, nigga, now you ain't ready for me, and kept it moving. But
I mean,
he got the aesthetics.
we both know, Coach, man.
This nigga be changing. Man, you done changed 4 scenes today, man.
This guy is just like his brother. His
brother started
off on the couch, the pause. Then he was outside. We see trees in the background. Then he was back on the couch with the little joint behind. Like, come on now. This guy was in the car. He went to the bed. Pause. Then he in the living room or dining room. Like, come on, man.
When Sean first used to get on the show, he was always in his car. It was just he would turn the light on. Then he would leave for like 30 minutes, come back.
Yeah, that sounds like my brother, yeah.
Sean be all different places, man. Every time you see him, man. No, but I agree. I agree with you, Coach, man. But the thing is also too, we know, because like you said, there are a lot of women out there that will definitely say that they're okay with just winging it, having a good time, going with the flow, and then you put that pipe on her. You feel me? Next thing you know, it's I'm ready for a relationship right now. Like we together, and you like, whoa, hold up, short. Like this ain't that type of movement. We both had an agreement here. We had a verbal contract, but but on the real though, but we know that happens, and that's what I'm saying. Like, as a man though, too, I believe it's on both parties. I believe this could be on both parties. Like a man is not going to just to like because is when you giving up you feel me, it's gonna be hard for a man to just say, man, you know what, I don't want that no more, right? But at the same time, if you know that woman wants marriage or anything like that, and you don't want it, that's what I'm saying. Yes, at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to her to not let a man waste her time in that at the end of the day, right? But you know what I'm saying, as a man too, you can easily be like, short, listen, we've been rocking. I'm still not ready. I'm not, and I don't want to hold you up, so I'm gonna let you go, short. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. I'm just letting you know, but I don't want to be the reason why you don't get married for the next 4 years, 5 years, because I don't know when I'm gonna be ready. You know what I'm saying? But either way, it can, like I said, it can come down to both parties. She can easily be like, "Hey, listen, we've been doing this for 5 months. We've been doing this for 6 months, and we said that." Yes, we in the beginning we said that this was gonna be this. We both had these deep conversations. We've got to know each other. We've been places. We've been doing things together, and it feels like more than what we say it is. You know what I'm saying? Now,
women, women just want to know what you don't have to say to a woman, I'm gonna marry you tomorrow. A woman just wants to know what her place in your life is, period. If
right.
if a woman don't know what her place in your, and that's part of clarity, that's part of protection as a man, right? So protection is not just the physical, I'm going to protect you from the bad guys. Protection is I'm going to give you clarity, because if you don't give a woman clarity, then you leave her to her own thoughts. And we know women thoughts run wild. They think things that aren't true. We think things that aren't true. We jump to conclusions. And so that's why the yin and the yang are so important, because men are the logic piece, the brain piece, right? So we look to men to be that when we're chaotic. And you already know 1 week out of the month we crazy, like, for some of us it's all 12 months, like, you know what I mean, every week. So it's part of protection from a man. And although they were out there doing that street interview, they had a good time, I'm sure they did, and they come out. Now it's like, now you're not protecting me. Like y'all said, he embarrassed himself and embarrassed her. So now it's like, dag, like I am being publicly embarrassed, and you're not protecting me as a woman, the person that you say that you care for. I don't care if we're dating, I don't care if we're on the verge of marriage, but at the end of the day, that protection is just not there. And that's that's not her cover. He's not covering her. And so he should know her place in his life. I think she has accepted it, but I don't think that a woman should accept when a man is not clear on his intentions with her. Now, if y'all talked about, just going out on dates, there are some men that just want you to be their date for life, child. I am not that person. I'm not going to be your date for life. I'm not going to, that's just not my place. And that's not the place that I want to take in your life. So somebody else is going to have to fill that place. But there are some women that are okay with that. But it's not okay to, even if that is the situation, it's not okay to embarrass her in that way and make her feel unprotected.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I was gonna say, I actually agree with you, Mr. Payne and Precious. Like you guys both said some good things. It says, can you heal while being with a woman for 10 months? Mr. Payne said it correctly. Like when you're having a bad relationship, whether it be marriage or whatever, sometimes it's the healing. Yes, because obviously it's in his mind to a certain degree, but also maybe it's to the point where since you have marriage, you want to chill and see, you know what I mean, and just have fun. 10 months is not that long, in my opinion. If it was like 2 years, something like that, then I can understand he's holding on. But right now, he's trying to live his best life after having probably a horrible divorce, the way that he is conveying it. And like you said, Precious, I think they already had an understanding. So I think that as much as she was embarrassed, I don't think she was embarrassed enough to leave. The only reason why I said the viral moment, it has nothing really to do with the relationship and more with the stability of the woman's mind. You're right. 44 ain't no spring chicken. But some women could really, not some people could really crumble under pressure when it comes to a viral moment. But like I said before, and this is why I agree with Coach, If that viral moment never happened, even if it did, it's still to the point where she understood the situation. I don't think nothing came as a surprise. She even co-signed when he said what he said. So that even lets me know more that she understood. She might not like it, but she's 44 years old. And some women, like you said, will rather have somebody than nobody. So I think that both you guys are right in that regard. But as far as the 10-month thing, I still think that call it healing if you want to. I think he's just trying to live his best life since he went through 15 years of hell, or however many years of hell towards the end of the marriage. Once you get out of a bad relationship, all of us know that sometimes you just kind of want to live it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Hit some clubs, get flirted with. Flirt sometimes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, and 10 months is not a long time.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on from this one. If you guys are just joining, definitely hit that like button. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know that you're enjoying the show. We're gonna go on to the next video, which brings on our topic of the ugly truth about marriage. We know that there are people who do not grow up in a two-parent home. There are people who do grow up in a two-parent home, and there are just things that are not visible to the children that the actual couple, husband and wife, may go through, and how it can be detrimental to you when you go to get married and go through your, marital issues in your relationship. So we're going to take a look at this and then react to it.
Was married. He was going through stuff with his wife that everyone goes through, stages that everyone goes through. You're trying to take two people and bring them together as one. That's not going to be easy. There's going to be disagreement. There's going to be struggle. There's going to be a lot of that. But growing up, whenever his parents would have a disagreement, they would do it in private.
So he never saw it.
What he used to always say is, I never saw my parents argue. Because I never saw my parents argue. In his mind, his parents didn't have arguments.
Right.
So because I'm having arguments with my wife, something's wrong with me and my marriage and her because I didn't see my parents arguing. But his parents were arguing in private because they felt like they didn't want to show him the ugly side of marriage.
But they also did him a disservice too.
But that's what I'm saying. His parents thought they were doing a good thing by withholding and keeping it private to themselves. But they held him back because he never saw, how do I have a disagreement with my wife?
For married couples, if you have been through some battles, you've been through some wars, share your stories, how you came out, how you might not have even came out. You still going through.
It's not always about tell me how you got out. Sometimes I just want to know that I'm not by myself. When you think you by yourself, you'll make decisions because you think you're the only one experiencing it. Something is wrong with this woman because all my other friends' wives are doing great. When I look around, I don't see nothing wrong with them, so something got to be wrong with her. But because I'm not talking about it to nobody, because no one is telling me or at least sharing my experience, like, hey, bro, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, something like to that effect, I might get rid of her when I could have probably needed someone who's like, hey, I'm in the trenches with you. You were talking about going to the gym by yourself. And I was saying, like, it's hard. I respect people who can just get up and go to the gym by themselves because a lot of people need someone to go with them to the gym. And it's not so much that I need a person to go to the gym. There's a difference when I'm working out by myself and I get to a point where I'm tired and I'm by myself. So I just put the weights back on the rack and I move on to something else versus being in the gym. We go together. I'm getting tired doing this. And I look over at you and you like, nah, bro, one more set. One more set. Because you said one more set. Now I'm like, I got one more set. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get the one more set. So we need to start talking to people from a lens of not necessarily this is what me and my wife was arguing about, but what you're dealing with is not uncommon.
All right. So he talked about, not necessarily parents who have their disagreements and things of that nature, but don't do it around the children. And now the children think that the marriage is perfect. They, don't see any issues. But yet when they get into their relationship, they come upon these issues, disagreements, arguments, whatever it may be. And they're not knowing how to resolve them. They're not knowing how to have conflict resolution. And then on top of that, nobody really talks about what do you do in those situations. And so now they're feeling pretty much left on the island of how do you deal with this when no one wants to be real about what's truly going on in a relationship. So what do you guys think about that? If you don't see disagreements, how do you really know how to, solve them or resolve them? Especially your parents, that's the first relationship you see. And let's just assume that you do have two parents in the household, because of course when it's just a single parent, you know you ain't talking to yourself, arguing with yourself, unless you're crazy. I might do it a couple times, talk to yourself a little bit. But in a two-parent household, because I didn't see my parents argue much. I saw them like fuss a little bit, or I could see when they were like annoyed with one another. My dad go upstairs, watch his games or whatever. My mom downstairs watching her black and white movies. But to this day, my mom still watch black and white movies. I'm like, Mom, we have had color. But she would watch them black and white movies like they just came out in the cinema, okay? But so I didn't necessarily see that. However, I have gone to therapy, so I do know that there are ways where you can still get your personal development, even if it is not through your parents or they didn't necessarily teach you that. But how do you guys what do you guys think about it?
All of my
Did you guys see your parents argue? Did you, have you gotten into situations where it's just like,
yeah. So what I'm saying is I argued in front. We argue once in a while. We don't have a lot of arguments. The only arguments we didn't have in front of our kids when it was about them.
Right. That was it. Our pain. I was going to say that.
So we didn't argue about them in front of them. That's the one thing. So they didn't know those things we didn't do. But the larger issue is, and I hear what we're trying to do, a lot of things we learn on our own, not because we've experienced or somebody experienced. It's not a good enough excuse to say, I've never seen something.
Sure ain't.
And so I'm going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Some things you learn along the way. Because when I go back and I think about my life, man, this where I'm at now, a lot of shit, nobody said any of that stuff to me. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Not at all.
And if I sit back and say, well, how did I know to do this? Because back then, you know what I had? Peer pressure. Back when I was young, we were all told we were going to go to high school and we're going to apply for college.
Yeah.
Nobody told us how to do that, but that's what everybody was, everybody didn't go, but that's what's the flow. Summers, you were going to try to find a job. Once you were 14, you get your working permit. And so peer pressure of other people just doing it, that's how we were living.
Yes.
But even when it was time for me to get married, it was really peer pressure. My family everybody was married at a certain age, And so when all that stuff, when people started being individualistic and all that shit started going away, your peers were doing other things now.
Yeah.
Staying single, fooling around, doing drugs. So I think that's when I'm thinking, you know what? I just came to that kind of revelation just right now. That's what made me go do the steps, because everybody I was around was doing that. Not everybody, but a lot more. That's what was expected of us. Nobody told us to do it. And so, and that shit, when they took that shit away, everybody they blamed this shit on the baby boomers. But I happen to be the biggest baby boomer in the world. But no, but what I did, I'm going to segue real quick. I stopped arguing about how much people hate baby boomers.
Yeah.
There was 76 million baby boomers. So it stands to reason a significant amount of baby boomers were effed up, right? I don't have that reality, okay? However, there was enough baby boomers who were effed up to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I use that on black women all the time. So it's not all, but it's enough for you who are fucked up. So that's where we're at now. So I mean, back to the point. Yeah. So we argue a little bit, but the kids saw us. They saw us through all the spectrums and stuff, man. And but we were a little older also, so we were a lot more stable than a lot of young fellas. I was 41 when my youngest daughter was born. So, and I was 30. I I was 34 when my oldest was born. So we were pretty much set as a couple.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because my parents were married all of my life, and till my mom passed, but they had arguments, but listen, they argued about how tough my father was going to come down on me when I done something stupid. And it really wasn't an argument. My mother would be like, well, don't be too hard on him. I'm great getting his ass. Y'all get the hell out. He would tell everybody in my family, y'all get the hell on out of my face because I'm great getting in his ass. And other than that, they had regular conversations. My mother has 6 sisters, all of them were married to death. And, our house was pretty vibe. When my father was around, everything was cool. It was like your church whisper in a sense. And, but it was silly acting. I could come through and again, it wasn't like all this. It was I had a great childhood. I would not lie. But my mother and father got along. They had conversations about real shit. Okay, we got to get them some school clothes. And it was more about me because what the hell he been doing in school? My father was the one that was going to give me the discipline and the instruction to get shit done. I can pull stuff off on my mama, but my father like, man, hell no. Get it done. Make it happen. And they just worked it out. You know what I'm saying? This whole new salute to the crack era, man, because everybody, people argue. I couldn't take seeing or not seeing my parent. And our parents said something very unique. When I was young, when I was 14, 15, our parents, everything we did was without adults. We had dances without adults. We signed up for jobs without adults. We filled out the application. Mamas didn't do shit but maybe give you your first little dollar or two to catch the bus to get there. I dropped you up. That was it. You wasn't around your parents and watching them. Oh, they argue. Oh, my parents didn't argue. I don't know how they were doing in a relationship. Those are excuses. Those excuses because not everybody's coming from those type of environments where they coming from arguing people. So just because you came from that toxic shit don't mean I'm gonna be arguing with you. I never argue with, like, me and my wife, we have disagreements and shit, but by the end of the night, guess what we doing? We cuddled up and shit, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like looking like, what was our argument? Well, I want to go left, you went right. Oh, okay, then cool. I'm sorry for going right. and it's sort of like, it's like, but to be like, I didn't have an example, hell. I didn't have an example to do the job that I did, but I learned how to do it. My father taught me how to cut the grass by starting the lawnmower up. That was it. Wasn't no pushing, no nothing. No more. I didn't see my parents do no labor from the time I was 14 to the time I left the house. No labor. My mama cooked. She ain't clean. She ain't wash clothes. She ain't do shit. She ain't show nobody how to wash clothes. That was it. Read that shit. And you learn how to do it. Today, people make excuses for their shortcomings. And I don't think I don't know. It's hard for me to answer these because, damn, we was independent. We was latchkey kids. Figure that shit out. A relationship. Case example, I'm going to shut up. Me and my first wife, I'm just using it as an example. Me and my first wife argued. I never seen nobody how to argue. I never seen people work it out. They argued all the time. So I meet you. You don't argue. Do I have to be arguing with you because that's my past experience? Or do I just learn from it like, you know what? It's not helping. Because when people argue a lot, look at how they come out of it. It's traumatizing. You know how much pressure it takes to be arguing every day about some dumb shit?
That's dumb shit.
That shit got to be draining. I just got off work. You just got off work. What we arguing about? No. It to me, it comes down to the individual. People are too modern. We make excuses for the lack thereof. So, I don't know, man. It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Frank, you want to go?
Individual.
Yeah. Oh, well, I thought Frank, but what I was gonna say is, from what the clip said, as far as he didn't know how to do it, and I agree with these gentlemen, Coach and Payne. It also boils down to how you communicate. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, when your wife or your girlfriend is unhappy, you can sense it. Everybody can sense it to a certain degree. Nobody's really truly blindsided. You might not know how bad it is, but you definitely know something's wrong. And I think that this generation doesn't communicate well at all. And I think that that's what Ms. Precious was talking about, where with therapy and stuff like that, sometimes that could unlock it. I've never been to therapy, but I've heard people going to it, and sometimes it unlock things that makes you act better and stuff like that. But what the brother was talking about leads me to believe that all the relationships he had, or all the relationships his homeboys had, I don't know if they're communicating or whatever, but he is basing his relationship on theirs instead of just communicating with his woman. You know what I mean? Because obviously something was going on, and he never thought to even ask about it. Now, what Coach Payne, I mean, with Payne and what Coach was talking about is when we were growing up, like I'll piggyback off of that. Like my parents didn't stay together. Sometimes I saw them argue, sometimes I didn't, but they didn't stay together. So obviously, whatever I saw, it didn't work, right? But I think that the more that you have friendships, even the more that you have people you care about throughout your life, who you know how to communicate when they get on your nerves, that's what sets you up better for relationships when you get in the future after high school and so on and so forth. So I just think that the brother that was on the video today, he never learned how to communicate. And I think that this day and age with social media and stuff like that, to where communication, like one on one, whether it be on the phone or in person, people like to communicate through keyboards now. And it's a lot easier to communicate through keyboards until you have to actually see the person a lot, like your girlfriend or your wife. Well, and then you don't know what to do when things go awry a little bit. I think our generation is a little more tougher when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Like, it's to the point where you might have to yell at your homeboy for a minute. You might have to go through those breakups with your girlfriend, and then y'all talk again until 12 o'clock at night, and then y'all get back together. See, this generation don't know about that. Once they do it, it's like it's over. I'm not messing with you no more. You do one wrong thing to me, it's a wrap. And I think that communication is the key. And the brother on the video, I think that that's what he was lacking, is that he didn't know how to communicate with his woman about, okay, I see you're a little disappointed, what's on your mind. And women will be, once you give them that platform, they'll tell you. They'll let you know, I don't think you appreciate me, or you've been coming home work too late, or just whatever the case is, and then you'll have dialogue, comes a solution, and you keep it moving. This generation really doesn't know how to do that, and I think that's his tale was a prime example of that.
Facts. I bet I was tearing some popcorn up over here, but good conversation, man. I'm just sitting here watching everybody have a good conversation. But no, but yeah, I agree, man. It's a crazy situation to have a grown man out here talking about, well, I didn't see my parents argue, so I didn't know how to get through conflict and conversation and all that type of shit. Like that, to me, that's just a wild situation, man. Because like Ian said, man, growing up, and Coach Ferg, you know this, and matter of fact, we all know this, right? Because our pain is in a fraternity. You got into it with your fraternity brothers. Like everything wasn't always smooth. Coach Ferg, you a coach and you in a fraternity. Like everything wasn't always cool. You have relationships outside of your one-on-one intimate relationships with the woman or with the man in those situations when you had those. So one of me and my best friends, man, whenever we got into it, we would fight other people, but we just wouldn't fight each other. But we would walk down the street pushing each other, man. Literally pushing each other all the way to my grandma's house from the library, bruh. And we would just be like, yeah, what, man, swing, nah, you swing. No, but that was my partner, man. And so we wouldn't fight each other, but we would fight everybody else. It would just somebody else touch us, all right, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And it just was what it was. But even just that simple interaction taught self-control, because we could have, it literally went off and just started just wailing on each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, but to be mad at somebody, to be angry at somebody, and to get to the point to where you want to fight, but you even just stop yourself because I care about this person because this is my partner. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to cross that line because we might not ever be able to come back from that. And some people, so you with your friends, your partners, or whatever the case may be, sometimes you had to have that crash out moment. Sometimes you had to get, to get to square up one time. And then it was like, yo, man, well, what the fuck was we fighting for? You know what I'm saying? But you have relationships out. My grandma, I don't think I ever really seen my grandma and my pawpaw fight. When I was younger, before I moved with my grandma, my step pops, he just said what it was. My mom just was like, all right, cool. Like, it never was a situation where I really even seen my step pops fight with my moms. But you still have to learn how to navigate relationships outside of your home. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the things that also help to set you up for relationships. So if you don't learn how to navigate the relationships outside of home, that's why when other people be letting their kids hang around them all the time, so like a single parent, a single mom, single dad, and you just let your kid hang around you all the time, they're never around other kids to really experience what kids go through, the arguments, the back and forth, the I don't like you, well, I don't like you, give me my toy back, and all. Like, they had to experience that early, man. Let them play, let them go have fun, let them get scrapes and scratches and get their knees dirty, their legs, like, let them learn how to pick themselves up, because those are valuable lessons. Even at that young of an age, they don't understand what it's doing to them. But when they get older, they're gonna learn that's gonna teach them how to navigate through situations. It just is what it is. You can't blame that on your parents. You can't blame that on nobody else but yourself. If your relationship is not working out, you had a bunch of life experience throughout life. You went to school for 12 plus years and you didn't learn how to communicate. That is a you problem.
Yeah,
Exactly. I agree.
Amanda says self-control, emotional intelligence, etc. All of it matters, and I would definitely agree. You don't have to necessarily go to therapy. Even though I am an advocate for it, if people have issues, they have their traumas, they don't know how to communicate, you can legit go to Barnes and Noble, one of my favorite stores, and pick up a book. Like, I have so many books. Like, the self-help section was my best friend in college. Like, surround yourself with the knowledge if you don't come from the knowledge. You know what I mean? And I think that's what you guys are saying. You still need to be able to operate and conduct yourself in other relationships. However, a lot of people do put the onus on the parents because those are the first relationships, that's the first relationship you're in. Like, there are a lot of people who don't say I love you to their parents, who their parents never showed them affection. And so then they have their kids, or then they get into relationships, and the man or the woman is like, dang, they don't touch me, they're not affectionate, like, what's going on? And they may think that it's them, when in reality this person has never been affectionate with a loved one of theirs, and now they call themselves loving someone, and affection, it has to be a part of that type of, that intimacy that you have with that person, and it's a foreign thing for them. And so that's where you have to then go into yourself and say, okay, what is it that I'm not showing this affection? And then that's when you have to go back to your childhood and say, okay, I wasn't shown this. This is not something that was given to me. And so, how do I now, you know, teach myself or put myself in situations where I can slowly ease myself into this? Again, I think Coach Ferg said it, or maybe Frank said it. It definitely is a individual thing. We can't always go to our childhood and say, oh, well, I didn't learn that, or nobody taught me that, or I didn't see that, or, because as you get older, what somebody else said it on your job, like you didn't have an example, but you learned how to do it in order to earn the money. And so as an adult, you had to learn how to do it to earn people's trust or earn people's affection or earn people's attention, whatever it is. But you have to put yourself in a space where you are, and I say this all the time, seeking after that knowledge, not just settling for what you don't know. And that's one thing that you'll go on job interviews, and one of the questions that a lot of managers or upper level people will ask you is, what is one thing that irks you, or what's one thing that gets on your nerves, or that doesn't settle well with you? And for me, it's always people who do not seek after knowledge, because it is so many resources out here. I mean, you have it at your fingertips. And if you are not thriving, or if you keep coming into a brick wall in your relationships and things of that nature, that's when you have to really look within yourself and say, okay, I have to break down this wall that I have. There's something that I need to do in order to turn this around. And most times that's, like I said, going within yourself and identifying those things, because a lot of people just think it's the world, and it's like, no, it's you. It's you. And it's okay if it's you. It's okay. But when you go to the AA meetings, they tell you to stand up, state your name, and say that you have a problem. Right? And so if you don't even get to that step, or if you don't even acknowledge that, then there's no way to go any further in any relationship, whether you saw it or not, because there's people that saw it and still don't know how to resolve disagreements, because maybe what they saw never came to a resolve, So we have to be seekers of knowledge. We really, really, really do. I want to get on to the next video, because in this video, it shows how someone is the wife makes a comment to the husband, and how the husband readjusted his lens on how he took what his wife said to him. So we're going to get into this video, and then we're going to be out of here. This video is a little long. It's comedic, but it also teaches a lesson in my opinion. All right, let me just make sure. Here it is.
Bible say guard your heart. Yeah, guard your heart. It's telling you, man, it's gonna be some things said you ain't gonna like. I didn't even know I had feelings until I got married. Good luck finding them when I was single. I ain't had no feelings. Yeah, when I was out there dating 2 or 3 of them. Okay, 4, 5 of them. You know how I go. 4, 5. Yeah, I was out there. And so, I ain't had no feelings. Man, I never been hurt by a woman until I got married. I was shocked I had feelings. Man, what is wrong with me? What is wrong? I remember the day it happened. My wife was in the kitchen. She was chopping up something, trying to get some food to eat. And we were just talking. It really wasn't arguing. We were just talking, whatever. And then my wife said this here. Now, my wife, she's standing like this. She had his foot like this. And she was like, Marcus, you don't do nothing around here but pay bills. I say, what? She said, you don't do nothing around here but pay bills. She acting like I only pay Wi-Fi. I pay all the bills. That was my gift to my wife. You hold me down for 5 years, I'ma hold you down for life. That's just my gift. Now, when she said that, I was perplexed. Because I know people in my mama era and above, I'm not saying they worship a man that pay all the bills, but they really adore him. They really admire him. Oh, but this new girl, boy, you don't do nothing around here but pay the bills. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, that hurt me. Because all I ever wanted to do was free my wife up. She didn't have to worry about no money. And I found out that what I really wanted to do for her didn't mean much. So that stuck with me for about a couple of years. But I found out what she meant in the pandemic. In the pandemic, you know, I wasn't working. You know, a lot of you churches had shut down on me. Churches had shut down on me. And so, you know, I wasn't working, so I was at home a lot. And though I wasn't working, she was still at work, right? She was still struggling with them kids, taking them to school, doing homework, all this type of stuff. Mommy, I'm sick. And I was like, you know, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Let me know we need to copay. I mean, you know, I don't know nothing, right? So one day, Erica was struggling with our daughter, Charlie. Struggling with her this morning. Charlie, be still. Charlie, stop. Quit. All that type of stuff. So I don't know if it was the spirit, I don't know. Something hit me. And I said, hey, babe, I'm going to take Charlie to school today. My wife said, for real? I said, yeah, I'm going to run up there. I said, okay, thank you, babe. So she got Charlie together. I put on my little stuff. Get Charlie put in the truck. The school just 3 minutes up the road. All right? 3 minutes up the road. We get to the school. But what's up with this drop-off line? Let me stop right here. What is this drop-off line about? I mean, why it takes so long, dog? I want to tell Charlie, hey, get out the truck, look both ways, walk across the street. You'll be okay. I did it my whole life. Let's just walk across. It's a 3-minute drive to the school, but a 30-minute in the line. It's so dumb. But anyway, I take Charlie to school, drop off. I get back to the crib, open the door. Is that bacon? Are them eggs? Grits?
The way he smelled grits, though, had me.
Toast? I walked in, I said, babe, what's up? She's like, well, you know, I cooked a little breakfast, you know, for us. I said, sure. We ate. We sat on the couch, you know, catching up on our stories, Yellowstone, you know, yeah, Ozark, you know, we watching all the stuff, you know, all our little shows at that time, and we doing that, and then we just having a good little pandemic day. And then it got about 3:30, and my wife said, oh, I gotta go get Charlie. I said, no. I'll get her. Back up to that school. Hey, what's up with this pickup line? I mean, what is another line? Y'all didn't drop off this many kids. What's going on? Yeah. And let me tell you something. Just because somebody hurt your feelings don't mean they were wrong. Yeah. Yeah, your feelings just hurt. Tell your feelings to lift weights. Tell your feelings do some push-ups. Yeah.
So I wanted to play that because, you know, his wife made a statement. You don't do anything around here but pay the bills, right? And it wasn't until he didn't have a job to continuously earn. I'm sure he, you know, they have money, but he wasn't continuously earning through that job that he had, which he was a pastor, obviously, and they shut down the churches during COVID. And he saw the work that she did that he didn't pretty much get to see when he went off and did what he did. But the way that he responded was, you know what? Let me actually join in on this work. And then him joining in actually was a reward for him, because then it made, because of the little gesture of him taking Charlie to school, then got him breakfast. So now it's time to pick Charlie up. And he like, no, I got it. Because now we later in the afternoon, and y'all know night comes after that. So I just wanted to play that to show that sometimes you will, and I do want to note that comment he said stayed with him for years, right? It stayed with him for years. We don't know if he held anything against his wife. We don't know if he treated her a different type of way. We don't know. But we do know that in his mind, that's how he thought his wife viewed him. But it wasn't until he saw the work and he pitched in to help her. But I wanted to play it to show that everything doesn't have to be an argument. Every disagreement doesn't have to be something where, you're breaking up and things of that nature. But the way that you handle it can either make or break you. And so the way that he handled it was saying, you know what? Let me take her to school. It's right up the road. Something that his wife usually does. And that little gesture took so much relief off of her that she was like, really? Because this is not something that you usually do. But playing that, I wanted folks to see that it only takes one little gesture. It only takes one thing out of your routine. And you're a team, right? You're supposed to be a team. And so he took Charlie to school. She cooked breakfast. He about to pick Charlie up from school. I'm sure she gonna burn, get that stove going and cook dinner. Maybe a cake. Right? So you may not, in a prior video clip, we talked about disagreements and things of that nature and not knowing what to do when you come across situations like that. But in this situation, he turned a negative into a positive. And a lot of people don't know how to take negatives and turn them into a positive and it be a pivotal point in your relationship. Because the other negative was that he lost his job, something that you couldn't see coming. You know what I mean? And those things happen in relationships. And that comment of you only pay bills came to a head when he saw himself not being able to pay a bill. So you guys can weigh in on this, but I just played it just to, show an example of how you can turn a negative into a positive in a marriage.
Well, what she said to him, I mean, we called it a negative because it sounds like he didn't do anything about it for those 2 years until the pandemic. But it stuck with him because it sounded negative, but he didn't get the message she was trying to convey because it sounded like she kept doing the things she was doing as well, so that was cool. But I said it all the time. I said, there's every woman has a certain amount of everybody, every person, man or woman. But when you're a man, you got to realize your woman has emotional currency and you can burn credits. I tell y'all all the time, I burn credits. So I know how to put them back, and the fact is I know that every so often and it doesn't take a lot, just gestures.
Right.
Gestures and sometimes some big stuff. I mean, my wife she doesn't really like to ask me to do things. But every time she mentions something, I know how much it takes for her to do it. So just recently she says, well, our back porch is looking kind of cheesy and shit. It's like falling down here and there. And I'm just thinking about the money. So, so I couldn't wait to say, that same very day, I contacted 5 different contractors. I said, guess what? Got 5 guys coming over. They're going to look at what we need to do and get all this kind of stuff. And I'm saying, So we actually just got it finished. So I feel good about that. So
nice.
I said, I got some man credits back.
Man, you could have called me, man. I would have came over, man, and hooked your deck up, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you know what? Listen, you probably could have. You know what? It's a shame I couldn't do it, but this is my way of contributing to the economy. It didn't cost that much. But every so often, somebody got to feed the goddamn economy. So that's me. So anyway, so she all happy and shit, right? But for a lot of little things, it didn't have to cost me that much money, but just little things. I know I talk a couple of guys into don't have to do much. You're a young guy, you got a new baby, your girlfriend is going through postmortem, she's crazy and shit like that. Just tell her you'll take the baby for a weekend. Get the hell out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I remember, I'm gonna be quick. I remember this guy. I don't know his name, but he was a young guy, white dude. I'm at the bar, you know, my lunch break from work. You know, I had my little seat, like chairs and shit. And so this guy comes in, he's talking about he's having trouble with his wife. Young, he must have been like 20s, early 20s. I said, well, you love this woman? He said, yeah. I said, well, you know, you want to stay married? He said, of course. I said, well, the baby's like 1 year old. She's having trouble. I said, well, why don't you just tell her, like, this weekend, go get your girls, go hang out. I got the kid. I said, once you do that, and she'll know that you'll want to step in, you don't have to do that shit every week. You just got to relieve. She just needs to know that you'll relieve her every so often. I said, you do that shit, man. You know, that's going to give you so much credit. Well, first of all, you're going to have such a great time with your kid, unbeknownst to you, because you haven't done it. You're going to want to do it more often. And she's going to be happy. And that's going to be out. You know, you're going to get so much credit for that. You don't know what the hell.
Right. Hey, look, and sometimes it don't even take a whole weekend. Sometimes it's just simple, you know. So it's just simply right. It's just simply taking the kid out of that. I'm gonna take the baby to the park. You know, you go ahead, relax. Don't do nothing around the house. Relax, chill, just enjoy yourself. Watch your show or go get your nails done. Go relax. Let me take care of the baby. You know, we gonna have us a little daddy daughter date, or we gonna go to the gym, whatever. You just focus on you for these few hours and you just let that be that. We will see you when you get back. You know what I'm saying? Or and if you're still here when we get back, don't come downstairs. Because you know the baby gonna want you. I got the baby. You stay upstairs, you do your thing. I got the baby today. So sometimes that's right on, man. That's spot on right there, our pain. Sometimes it's just a simple shit, you know, and it doesn't take it doesn't take a big old overarching gesture for you to do this. It just takes she just needs to know that you got her back at some point in time.
But you know what? Getting that porch out there, though, my credit bill is long as a
you feel me?
What credit? This is all the way up there. It's gonna take me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to burn that shit off, man.
That's a whole summer.
Every time you sit on that thing, like,
yo, you come upstairs, you ready to fall. Look, she ready to fall asleep with you in it. She don't care. She like, you didn't gave me some time off today. Okay, bet I got you. But yeah, just the fact that it sounded like
a lot of men missed it. A lot of men missed that, man. A lot of men missed it. I mean, really
and it sounded like he was doing some stuff, and once his job stopped, she was still doing all the things that she was doing. Like, once your job stopped, then that was your cue right there to be like, yo, even if it was, hey, if you get the baby's bags ready in the, at night, I'll make sure I get her to school every morning. I'll make sure I pick her up. It's just taking those things off her hand because look, we're at the end of the day, we're a team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't gotta be talking about the partnership shit. We're a team. So the only way that things are going to work when I'm not pulling that heavy financial load is for me to be like, hey, like a lot of this shit that you was doing around here, I got you. You're doing your thing. I got you now. It's my turn. And so that's all it take. That's all it take, man.
Yeah, now it's funny because when I saw it, I'm not gonna lie. I first thought when she said you only pay bills or that's all you're good for, is that he was emotionally not invested. A lot of men a lot of people are really dug into their work to the point where when they get home, they don't want to deal with no babies, they don't want to do no chores, none of that. They want to chill, not even talk to the wife like that. And that's the impression I got at first. But then when he actually did something to help, you guys said it, all three of you guys said it, perfectly. It's just the gesture. You know what I mean? Because I think also not only the gesture, but I think also making little TV time, even when come home from work, little things like that. I'm sorry to the women, but slap her on the butt one time just to let her know, hey, girl, you still got it. Like little itty bitty.
Hey, stop
Nah.
saying sorry to the women on stuff like that.
Yeah.
They like that shit.
I'm trying to be a gentleman, you know what I mean? But
She yours. You already been a gentleman.
Yeah. I told my wife,
you're right.
I can't wait to grab her cheek in public. That's what I'm telling
No,
you.
Best believe I can't wait to see them shorts. I'm smacking that ass every time she
I mean,
grab that.
but you know what's funny? Some men actually lose that if they're like so tied into their work. You know what I mean? Some and like you guys said, the little gestures and I even think if it was to the point where let's say that she still took the kids, because at the end of the day, if she's at home and he's doing work, then she's actually used to the chores. But what I do think is that even if he made more of an effort to kind of chill with the family when everybody came home and stuff of that nature too, and help out a little bit, but still with that, I think he would have still got the same treatment of the breakfast and all that stuff. I think that honestly, he was just not emotionally not there. Because anytime a woman says, "All you're good," basically the impression I got was all you're good for is the money aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do nothing else. You come home, you do this, you do that, you probably have a little drink, and then you go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have no type of TV time. Like, every couple should have, like, at least one or two movies, like he said. He said he had to catch up on TV series that he hasn't been watching. So that just lets me know right there, even more so that they don't have that quality time, as well as him helping out with her. You know what I mean? So I think that when it comes down to relationships, you always should number one, make those gestures. But number two, have those moments where you can be with number one, your wife, and number two, with your kids as well. Have those individual moments planned out, so that when you do come home and when you do, come home from work or whatever, when the pandemic is over, you can still kind of keep that going with her, knowing that, no matter what I'm doing to get this money, I got you. You know what I mean? And I still love you and I still look at you the same as when we first got together, all that stuff. So I think those gestures will go a long way. And be emotionally available will go a long way as well.
Well, listen, most men of color, they're not just disengaged with their children and things like that when they come home. Come on, man. Listen. We want to play with our children more than anything. We might. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Coming home from work, especially if you're a man that work a lot now. When you coming home from work, okay. First of all, everybody has their role to play. If she wants to be a home wife, then she has to understand that role comes with a great responsibility. And it has to be time oriented. I can't say I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I want to spend 3 hours on my YouTube page. I can't do that. I have to be a stay-at-home mom. I can't do all of these things and then come back and say later, oh, it's too much. Hell, you can go outside every day, put these snow boots on, these rain boots on, just get out here and start this cold ass car and drive over 20 miles and sit in traffic, and you can do all that. And I think, a lot of people don't understand the duty. One thing I love today is the fact that my wife, she don't have to do too much outside. When I tell her, when she go outside, I tell her only get things that she want for herself. Because when I go out, I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to the bank, I'm doing all of the stuff, and I'm gonna come home and cut the grass and get up the dog boo boo and climb up on the roof. I do all of that probably within 6 or 7 hours. That makes my day. Now my wife, she works from home, but she only has to go in 4 days out of the month. And she plans that out 2 weeks ahead. Like, you still got 2 weeks, and she only got to go in for like an hour and come home. But I think everybody has to have an understanding of their roles. And yes, if I'm not working, then yeah, I'm taking the kids to school. Matter of fact, I'm part of the PTA now. They like, look at Mr. Coach Ferg, when you go come and talk to little Timmy. I'm in the school. It's just so many things that you can do, even around the house. And most men, most men, and I say men, not just the dude, a guy, most men are clean as hell. Dudes be tidy as hell. They like got shit lined up, facing the labels out, and but it's a man though. Now I ain't talking about no boy, I ain't talking about nug with his tight ass jeans. I'm talking about a dude that got his shirt. Frank probably still got his shirts facing the same way. You ain't got no military. You ain't got no military in you no more.
Hey, I ain't got no military beard no more.
Oh, damn. You ain't got no beard.
Hey, I'm not even gonna hold you that. Listen though, that's why you gotta have somebody who match you. You feel me? That's why you gotta have somebody who is good at the things that you're not good at, man. I've never been a whole organized person, right? So like it's key for me to have a woman who is more organized than myself. But the other things that I love to be able to, if there's something that needs to be fixed, if I don't know how to fix it, I'm gonna try to learn how to fix it. If I can't learn how to fix it, I'm gonna pay for it to get fixed. Like I'm gonna do all of the other things that I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? If she's gonna be holding down she's gonna be the more organized person in the house. You know what I'm saying? It'll be my job to help her keep it organized. That's me right there. I've never been I hate doing laundry, bruh. So like sometimes I get the laundry, I put it, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to fold this right now. I don't want to. Next thing you, yeah, facts. So if I got a woman who is like, cool with that, and she's like, yo, like, you do it, I put it up, cool. Like, all right, cool. Like, I'm cool with that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, teamwork, man. That should make the dream work for real.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody, just let you guys know I got to get up out of here. Got work tomorrow, but it's always a pleasure. Coach Ferg was nice to me today, so I feel good.
Hey, somewhat.
He was good on me today, yo. He was chill, yeah.
He shook his head at everything you said.
Yeah.
I wasn't mean to you last time.
I said you weren't. No. I said you weren't mean to me. You were good today. You know what I mean? Hey, but it's always a pleasure, Mr. Payne, Frank, Precious. Thank you guys, and hopefully I see you guys the next go around.
You will. Have a great
All right, take care, y'all. Sure.
That's funny.
All right, so we're going to get into these final thoughts. I appreciate everyone who came on the platform tonight. It has been a good one. Thank you for the Cash App. I did receive a Cash App, so thank you so much for contributing to the platform. But we're going to get into final thoughts, and then we're going to get up out of here. It's time to go to bed. It's Thursday.
You ain't got to work tomorrow.
Look, okay, I still have things to do amongst sleeping in. So we'll start our paying over to Coach Ferg. We'll end with Frank.
I don't know. It's been a good week, so it's funny. I have a cousin of mine. She's just turned 50. So she's finally, she has helped me with my investments. She got a son, he's 10. And I mean, the only thing I'm saying, well, nobody, like I said, nobody really talks to anybody, especially in a family, about finances, investing. So I have I set her up with a Roth IRA, targeted to when she's going to be 65 because she's by herself, single mom, shit. So I said, listen, I'm using 65 because your ass is going to be working at 65 because your son is going to be just getting out of college. You're going to be paying for some stuff, so you're going to need this job. So here's a way to come up with some income. So I feel good with that. So we got like Zoom meetings. So I'm getting more and more of my family involved. Like, of course, my daughters, got a niece, some other folks. And I sent her a thing for a 529 plan for her son. I said, it's 10 years. He's 10 years. We only got like 8 years. You ain't going to make enough money to save enough money to pay for college, but you'll get some seed money. I said, you're in, the state you live in probably has some programs. Look those shits up. See if they, you can get invested in some of those. And so I feel good doing that. So, it's been good, seeing my daughters doing their thing, my niece. Well, in fact, we're going to meet tomorrow. And so I'm trying to get some of the men to actually start looking at it. A couple of cousins of mine. So I'm going to try to keep doing that in the family. I got other people want to talk to me. So that makes me feel good because nobody came in here. It was a Japanese guy who pulled my coat.
Oh.
When I was like in my, early on, I mean, in my 20s. He was already making a lot of money. So I didn't really get started till a little later on because I heard him, but I wasn't really following all the stuff he was doing. I wish I would have had somebody telling me where to put my money when I was young. I would have been retired a long time ago.
Were you a financial advisor before you retired?
No, say that again. Did I go to one, or am I?
Was that your profession before you retired?
No, I was an engineer. The engineer. But I mean, I learned about the market. I had a lot of, I learned to learn on my own because I had invested with some houses and shit back in the market crash. I had a whole lot of money for my daughter to save up. They lost all my money. Not all of it. They lost that investment and sent me and declared a dividend at the same time. So as my investment was going, they declared a dividend I had to pay taxes on. I said, I'm never going to go rely on none of these assholes ever again. I'm going to do that shit myself.
Yep.
I could lose money all on my own. So I learned. So you learn some stuff. But one of the things I found about Black folks is that we need to start to stop being afraid of investing our money. We see where the markets are right now. This is the best time. If you're not in the market, this is the best
time to buy.
Because the market's down like 10, over 10, 15% down from its highs. And it's going to get back there. Just look at a chart for every 10 years, this happens. Or maybe even less. So anyhow, so I feel good about this. It was a good week. Got the deck done, and the wife looks at me with her eyes are glowing and shit.
Gleaming.
And, and of course, I mean, it wasn't that expensive, so I didn't have to finance the shit. So when it's done, right? So so I mean, it's just been good. Been a good week, So what the hell?
Our pants are so productive.
Yeah. So that's all I have. So it was a good day. It was a good conversation. I mean, like I said, in marriages, I tell guys now I can't tell you how to date no more because you guys think women are different. Not women are different, but women are not women anymore. It's not like the women are different. The young guys keep telling me women ain't women anymore. They have like 6 heads and shit and five legs. But for me, women are always women. They just out of balance. They're just out of touch with their nature. And they're pulling men out of touch with their nature, right? Because they want us to be like them. And every man who acquiesces to that starts losing who he really is. I said, just be a man within your nature. And the women who understand and can see that, they're going to be coming towards you. You don't have to chase them. But I can tell guys how to be married, right? I might not have to tell you to get there, but if you got there, I can tell you how to stay married. So that's it. I really can. So I'm done, man. Thanks a lot, Press. It's a good day.
Thank you, Arpane. I appreciate you as always. Coach Ferg, final thoughts?
Hey, Arpane, you gave some great gems, about the money. I learned years ago, right? If you're going to invest, right, and there's a change in leadership, that's a time when you should be looking to sell a little bit. Because anytime we see it now, stocks are dropping, right? We're saying this new presidency, changing leadership. So everybody's taking a hit. But you got to go through those financial quarters, though. When you think about money, you can't think about 365 days. You got to think about those financial quarters. It's 4 quarters. And you got to think about that because in June, it starts all over. So before June, next 30 days or so is when you need to start looking at some of these lower price stocks. Get you a few here and there, diversify your portfolio, right? And ride the wave. And then in the later part of the year, you'll start seeing some dividends roll in. But like Arpane said, you don't need to pay me to do that for you. Just do your homework and do it yourself.
Exactly.
So I learned this. I got in, I got out. I'm going to keep coaching. That's about the hardest job I'm going to do is coach some little youngsters, some little funky breath, nappy head little kids, and look at their mamas when they come to the field and they tights. But on a serious note, relationships are what you make it. They are. Marriages are what you make it. Everybody's approach to the marriage is going to be different. If you put garbage in your plate, you're going to have garbage in your house. You know what I'm saying? If you commit to that, you just got to be loyal to it and have the conversations. There's no way that I can be around my wife every day and we're not talking.
Mm-hmm.
We talk 5-6 minutes, and it seems like we talk 2-3 hours. We talk 2 or 3 hours. It seems like we talk 5 or 6 minutes. She balances me and I balance her, especially at this point in life. Shit, I ain't going, like I said, I ain't going back out on them streets. No need to. She ain't either.
Mm-hmm.
She know I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Shit. But I'm old. I can say that. You know what I'm saying? But marriage, it's ebbs and flows in marriage. I had to take all of my selfish needs and wants out of the marriage and look at the family aspect. And I think my wife does that a little bit more than me because she thanks me for every damn thing. And I'm going to cover her. We moved a little less than 2 years ago to a new home, and we had this big old 26 footer to unload. She said I wasn't feeling well. I said, go lay down. I unloaded the whole damn truck by myself. Even the things I needed 2 people, I figured out a way to get that shit off the truck. But it takes teamwork. And that's what I appreciate about it. She does everything to make sure we have everything we need. Like I said, I wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock every day. She might peep in, see if I'm okay. But that's about it.
Are you serious? I mean, what time you go to bed?
Well, it all depends, man. 3, 4, 5. I watch my Sanford and Son and Good Times and might go on. I do. I literally wake up between 3 and I'll say this 3 and 5 every day. 3 and 5 every day.
That's crazy.
And but I do a lot within 3 or 4 hours when I wake up. I go to Home Depot 2 or 3 times a month. I just bought a 26-foot ladder so I can get up on top of my roof. And she loves when I come home with a new tool because she knows something go happen. Mm-hmm. And she likes to participate. Well, she likes to get in the way, and she'll tighten up a bolt. But what I'm saying is because we work together, and not every marriage is going to be the same. You could have never told me I would have been married before I met my wife. I was having too much fun. Too much fun. I'm serious. I was having too much fun. But she told me, when you're ready to grow up a little bit, check me out. And we went on a trip. We went on a trip to Atlanta. 4 days. She said, if we can survive this, we can survive anything. We ain't been separated since. Not at all. So, I think everybody, is not, you have to have an open mind if you're going to get married. You have to. Things are going to change. Your living situation, you're sharing somebody sharing your space. Somebody's talking to you while you're trying to do the number 2. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of things you have to change. Your phone openness, I can go to sleep good at night but listen, I'll say this.
That part is off limits.
It could be probably the greatest thing you ever do.
Number 2, that's just off limits.
I'm just saying though, but marriage can be one of the greatest things you ever do. Yeah.
That's
no, I'm gonna shut up.
I never see my wife on the toilet.
Oh well, shit. Okay, then. Listen, like I said,
I don't want to.
Marriage is different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I cut my wife's toenails.
I could do that.
I sit up her. I got my little kid, and she looks for me to do it. Because she would not go get
a little, you can go somewhere.
She does
you got your woman's foot in your hand. That's just the beginning of all kinds of pleasure going on there.
That's and I'm that type of guy. I need to be touched. I need to be my head rubbed, my shoulders rubbed. I need touch. I need conversation. I need a good meal. Those are things I always wanted. And if somebody wasn't gonna do it, I wasn't gonna argue with them to do it. You just wasn't for me. And I can cut you off quickly
Quick.
and move on. But salute to everybody, man, who tried, man. Frank gonna get married one day. Precious, listen, you keep wearing your hair down like that, man. Please, man. I'm gonna find somebody for your ass.
You don't want to be married.
Come on, man. You don't. You
Might
playing.
get married, Precious. You don't
You
want to be
playing.
married.
Precious playing.
She got like a laundry list of
Laundry
things.
list.
Like only
Why do y'all think I have a laundry list? I don't have a laundry list of people.
Come on, Precious.
Well, you got a grocery list.
And you know what? It's funny because I have a friend and they always say, men assume a lot of things about you, whether you realize it or not. But men assume a lot of things about you, which is horrible because just ask me.
No, yeah, okay. The guy who's brave enough to ask you is gonna ask you. And that maybe that's a chit in his bag if he's brave enough to ask. What I'm just trying to say is
Aquarius.
You're probably one of the only women who can say, I'm not married because I don't want to be, and I believe.
Well, I do want to be married, so that's not the case.
Yeah, sure. Okay. You just haven't done. Yeah, okay. You probably got like 1,000 proposals. You got like a whole drawer full of rings in there somewhere. Like I said, nope.
So precious. So
I
precious.
keep myself busy until somebody's worth my time.
Okay. See, you don't want to. You go to what I may say. You don't
I let it go.
Want to until someone is worth me spending time with them.
Between January and May, we'll say May, right? This is May, right? How many people have tried to pull a number out of the hat?
One.
And he fell short. Huh? He picked the wrong number.
Why you know he fell short?
Because it's hard to climb that stairway to heaven. Before you fall off, that stairway to heaven. I'll be saying stairway to heaven presses you up here somewhere. I mean, I know we just mischaracterizing you, but it feels that way. Because where's the suitors at? Where's the men at? Where are the men?
Look, like I said, I keep myself
You working a lot. That's why.
I work a lot. So, I'm not.
Poor excuse, Precious. Poor excuse.
I'm not the girl that's out every weekend and just out here in these streets. No. I'm here with y'all. I work, I kind of keep myself on the straight and narrow until somebody is worth me veering the hell off.
I believe.
So,
well, we're done. Go ahead, Frank. Man, you get the last one. The second to last word, of course.
A good conversation. Yeah, great conversation tonight. Of course, as usual, we always have good conversations over here, good topics, and all that good stuff. If you have not liked, comment, and subscribed, then you need to make sure you do that to the channel, to the new channel. And besides that, of course, I'm not married yet, but what I'm saying, that hopefully, that'll be on the on the way. But man, I just don't get stuck on what you didn't get. Don't get stuck on the things that you didn't see, man. You can write your own story. That's what you got to realize, that you can write your own story. I realized a long time ago, I know Precious had used this example earlier. I grew up with where my family just wasn't affectionate, man. And you know what I'm saying? You know that when you're in a relationship, you know, you're in a marriage, you're, you know, like the the intimacy outside of the regular intimacy and having sex and all of that, the other things, you know, the texting and the calling, the, you know, all of those things, the, you know, the holding hands when you're together, you know, the, you know, pulling her to the inside, and all these things that you could do to show her that you know that you know that you want this woman, that you know you're still attracted to her, that you still are, that she is still that the one for you, the one that, you know, has your heart, the one that, like, just all of these things, man. Because you didn't see them, you can't use that as an excuse when you get older, man. You just can't. You have to. It's just like in the military, you got to adapt and overcome. I believe somebody used the same thing when they said when you go to work, it's a lot of shit. Every new position that you get, there's going to be things that you did not do at your old position. But you gotta, you're right, but you gotta learn the shit. Like, you have to learn it, so you gotta figure it out. So we can't use the excuse, oh well, my mama and my dad didn't argue, so I don't know how to communicate through arguing. No, you have life experience. Life experience give you life skills. Like, people need to recognize that, man. You, like, recognize that. You play sports, you were in groups, you went to school every day, like, you talk to people, so you learn how to communicate. Like, you learn how to communicate. Now, the way that you communicate on a daily basis is on you. And it's on you to adjust. If that woman say, I don't like being talked to like that, it's on you to adjust. You can't talk to her like she your partners. You can't. So, man, listen. You know, like Coach Ferg said, you know, your relationship, you gotta understand that you already know that your relationship gonna have ebbs and flows, have ups and downs, hard times, bad times, good times, all of that. You just gotta be prepared for it, and you gotta be prepared to work through it if that is the goal. You feel me? But y'all already know what it is, man. I appreciate, you know, all of y'all, and always appreciate the conversation. And, you know, I gotta poke fun at our pain real quick. Those first 100 days feel like 100 years. I want y'all to know that it feel like 100 years out here. You know what I'm saying?
The best 100 days in my
and
whole
I
life in the presidency.
hell no,
The
hell
most
no.
fantastic.
Hell no. I
most
know all I know is
fantastic day.
somebody said, and they ran on the economy, and all I know,
The economy's fine.
hell no.
The economy's just fine.
That ain't what economists say. That's what our page say.
Because you
That ain't
listening
what
to the wrong
economists
room.
say. No, even Fox News said that this was that he has the lowest polls in the modern day, all the way back to 70 years. He has the worst polling in the world right now. I just want you to know that even Fox News, your news said that. But anyway,
I listen to all the news. I listen to all of this. The first 100 days, this guy has done more as president than anybody. So,
our pain. This is my final words. This is my final. Don't try to.
You put your final word. You put my name in it. Goddamn it! You can't attack the person on your final word.
This is my final word.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
No, I'm just messing.
Text somebody on your final word.
You can't take
Nah, it's all.
That's not fair. It's not fair.
Good.
Anyway,
I gotta talk shit. I gotta talk shit.
Man. We're
Anyway.
gonna have to do a political show or one of these
We
guys.
got to, man. All right, well,
Back and straight it out. Hey, man, good final words anyway.
It's on you, Miss
Again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for rocking out with me. We should be back again next Wednesday or Thursday. I'll keep you guys updated. today, May 1st, is actually my mother's birthday. So later on in the day, we will be celebrating her, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys again. It's been a great show. The ugly truth about marriage is that everyone's is different, and it's catered to the individuals that are in the actual relationship. And you got to seek that knowledge in order to get past those hurdles. And it's a team effort. And so, where one lacks, the other one picks up, and vice versa. I believe that two are better than one. And so, if that is the case, then we do need to learn how to work together, get along, as well as be able to have conflict resolution. And it's not going to be easy at first. A lot of people, I think, when we hear you guys talk, Coach Ferg, you are in your second marriage, so there are a lot of things that you have learned from your first one, and you've also have had a break and have had that time. It's almost like, to me, it's like college. Like, I feel like everybody should go to college, because you get certain experiences in college that you just don't get if you don't go, because you learn so much while you're there. You learn so much about yourself. You learn a lot about other people. You just learn about the world, period, because you're just out on your own. And you got that experience, and then you met somebody, and boom, you just knew, like, she's the one. I can't live without her. We done spent this time together, and we haven't been apart since. Our pain, you've been married since 87. And, so when you guys talk, because you're not newlyweds, right? You've been in the game for a little bit. Everything seems like peaches and cream. Like, everything is just like, oh, we good. We don't have, we may argue, or we may have our, but there are people who are just beginning. At the beginning, there are people who haven't entered because of fear. There are people who haven't entered because of the lack of seeking knowledge, and the lack of just wanting to be better. That self-awareness. Again, when you go to an AA meeting, they tell you to state your name and that you have a problem. And that's the first step that a lot of people don't even like acknowledging. That step, getting to that, the first step is saying, you know what, I got a problem. I have an issue. I need to figure out what's going on. And if you don't want to invest in yourself, why do you think that somebody else will? Like, if you don't want to invest in, getting better, accelerating to the next level, and that doesn't even mean professionally, it just means in your life, period. And no matter what you're doing, whether that's in a relationship, or that's just you learning how to communicate, or you learning how to not be a people pleaser, there's a lot of different aspects in which you can seek knowledge and be a better person. And that will help you, gathering all those things into your toolbox will help you when you do get into a relationship and you're trying to work with somebody and you're trying to sustain it and make it last. So I appreciate you guys this evening. This has been a great conversation. I appreciate those who have joined. Thank you guys for linking your channel so others can watch. If you guys haven't already, definitely follow the gentlemen that are on the panel. They all have their own platforms. And y'all know how I say, be real with yourself so you can be real with others. Happy Thursday, guys. Have a good night.
Happy birthday, moms.